love all of those like this person was a child actor and how they like run a car dealership.
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
Well,
Daniel
Ralph
LaRusso.
Macchio.
Yeah,
Ralph Macchio
thank-
owns what is it? A laundromat like right by like my old house.
Oh shoot!
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta be honest, Clanky. I thought you were gonna make a Cobra Kai reference, and then you told me something that was actually true.
His parents used to own it, but I think he owns it now.
Great. The kid who
Yeah.
played Charlie in the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I think, stopped acting and became a dentist.
What was
For
his
a
name?
doctor.
His name was Christopher Lee.
Yes, he became
Yeah,
Christopher Lee. Yeah.
Are you talking about Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, not Willy
Yeah.
Wonka in the Chocolate
No,
Factory?
the original. The original.
That movie is
No,
terrifying.
the kid.
and I
No,
won't watch
Charlie
it.
from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is still acting in The Good Doctor, which is terrible. But the original Charlie, which is a guy named Peter Ostrom, he stopped acting, and he's a dentist, I think. Oh, no, I think he's a veterinarian. Yeah, he's a veterinarian.
I was gonna say that. And when you stop acting, you have
Be
two
a
options.
dentist.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, one of those options is being a dentist.
Yeah.
But
You always have the choice to be.
can
a
I just
dentist.
say, I just checked and it's not this anymore. But for a long time, Dylan Sprouse, his Twitter bio said child actor who does not currently do meth.
I mean,
I
I
don't-
remember that.
I don't know if it. So
Incidentally, by the way, he's really into Warhammer.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I hate to cut off conversation here, but I
Yeah.
may have a time limit tonight, so it would be best if we start somewhat soon.
We probably should. Okay, then that's fine.
I figured since we started today, we
Oh,
could chit-chat for a little, but we got 20 minutes and we're good. Shall we allow Jordan to do the thing?
Jordan,
I did the
must-
thing while you were
He-
talking before.
and Taylor
But
talked
if you'd
over
like
him.
me to do the thing again...
Jordan, buddy.
by 2021, it's just gonna be.
The 2017 Yearlies are brought to you by Divorce Papers, now with double the Christmases.
That one's a little too real.
I'm sorry.
No,
Why is
it's
that
okay.
one
Back
too
to-
real,
to,
Clanky? Are
back
you
to
in the
Arcadia,
middle of
yeah.
a rough divorce?
How dare you make that joke in the middle of this day of days? Spanish Groundhog Day.
How dare you make that joke while I'm going through my divorce?
How does
How
that work,
dare you
Mick?
make
You
that
just wait
joke?
around for a second.
It's July.
July,
Jordan.
it do be divorce month.
Can we
So true.
observe that nationally? Like,
What's the Spanish word for groundhog? Ah, marmota!
no, I'm sorry. I don't want to. I'm going to ask this
Spanish
again.
sound Italian.
I'm going to ask this again because this is very important to me. Can we acknowledge July as divorce month?
No.
It's also the month of my birthday,
Oh,
No, we can't do
so I
that to him.
prefer not to.
It's okay, Clanky. You don't have to get divorced. Just other people are going to get divorced.
All marriages are null and void in July.
And then they reinstate
No,
in August.
No, it's just like it's professional courtesy to get divorced in July.
yeah.
Like,
It's like how
all
you gotta
right,
get
all
married in September and October. Divorce is for July.
like it's June
Um,
23rd, right? And you go to your husband and you're like, I want a divorce. And you're like, hold that
Uh-huh.
thought. Come back to me next week.
And also it's June 23rd. We're celebrating Graham's birthday right now.
That's right. That is also.
What the fuck is that, Mick?
No, you say I want a divorce. Graham, blow out the candles.
Oh, God. Anyway,
my God.
2017 was a year where things happened. Matter of fact, people have been saying in prior yearlies that 2017 was one of the best years for games.
Taylor says
Weird.
that. Can Taylor go first?
It's so funny.
Yes, Taylor can go first. How was your 2017?
Okay, it's not a matter of how good 2017 was. 2017 was the setup to a very, very bad 2018, but that's not the point. Point is, 2017, purely from a video game standpoint, was the best year. And it's really weird saying that when Mick couldn't even come up with a single thing to put on the bracket this time. It's
Mick
like,
was too busy talking to me that year.
it's like of all of the ways like Mick and I like the same things but don't like the same things, the year 2017 had to be one of them.
Yeah.
But fine.
Can I say, there's a lot of games that came out this year that I would love to play, but I just haven't gotten around to him yet.
Fine. You know what? I appreciate that. Because
Oh,
there are so many times when I will allow someone else to shape my opinion before I can form it myself. But loving the video game library of 2017 was a me first type thing. I just there was just this one day when I looked at all of the releases up to like halfway in the year, and I was like, holy shit, dude! Like, there is so much good. Is someone jacking off? I'm sorry.
No, Jordan's typing.
I'm sorry, I'll type quieter.
I'm sorry. It sounds like he's fapping.
How does that sound in any way like that?
I get
Listen
turned
up.
on by good ears in video games.
No, Taylor, you'll hear a noise.
Yeah, I heard it.
No,
No,
I-
like an actual noise.
Taylor, I'll recognize it when we hear it.
Thank you, Graham.
Graham's like, oh, don't worry, there's an expert.
No, Graham is an expert on this.
Yeah, you will know when
He knows
Graham
what it
says.
sounds like.
You'll know when Jordan says, "No, Graham, not in my ass."
Oh my.
Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind.
Do not
Something
share this.
in my-
I wanna be anal.
If
Anyway,
What is
Taylor, how the
wrong?
fuck was your 2017?
Dude, 2017. The first half was not bad, actually. The first half was reeling in from a good 2016. And it kept that momentum going in the second half of my first year at purchase. And summer was decent because I got to play a game that's on this bracket that I'm excited to talk about. Then things got worse, and they didn't entirely become as terrible until later, but things began to get more challenging. But at the same time, I feel like 2017 is the year Jordan and I became real friends, and Mick and I got a little closer, I think, in 2017. Maybe it was
We were
2018.
acquaintances. Like I felt we became close
I know
enough that I felt comfortable coming to you and Christian in 2018 when I needed it.
That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. I was going to ask you because I'm like, that's the incident where we became friends. That wasn't 2017 though.
No.
Right. Okay. So Mick and I would still blink at each other. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that was my 2017. Really, the good start, mediocre finish. The video games were fucking phenomenal, and
Oh, yeah.
the video games, in fact, were so phenomenal that my putting together 3 entries for this one was so fucking difficult that I ended up I think I had 20 honorable mentions at one point. I don't have that many now, but of the things that I am so upset that did not make it onto this bracket, I'd like to call out Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Really?
Yes, and Jordan, that was my reaction when I realized that I enjoy this game, because it's not something it's not something I thought I would dislike, but it's not something I thought would be as good as it was. For one thing, it's the first it's an XCOM game, and I had never
Right.
played an XCOM game, and now I really want to play XCOM because the strategy element to this game is so good. You fucking give Mario and Luigi fucking Overwatch, and they fucking just snipe anything that walks past them. It's amazing. You fucking fight the Phantom of the Opera.
Going on a shooting spree is my reaction when someone hands me Overwatch as well.
Fucking the music, dude, is so good. Grant Kirkhope does the music. When you guys get a chance, type in Mid Boss Mayhem. It's such a good track.
it's on Spotify.
There you go. And even when you're not battling, they managed to make this super engaging overworld where there are secrets to hide in every corner, and tubes to go down, and treasure chests to open, and tubes to go down. There's and the other thing about Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, people give the Rabbids a really hard time, and I get it, but Rabbids are not minions. And
I was
think-
literally going to say that Rabbids are better minions.
Yeah,
Really?
and the thing is, I feel like if you hated Rabbids before, you could completely change your impression in this game because the Rabbids do not act like the. I mean, like sometimes they'll shout, but they're not like the stereotypical. Blah! Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they have like their own individual personalities based on the characters they are cosplaying. Like Rabbid Peach is like very much like chaotic evil.
Oh
And
yes, because as we know, yes, based on the characters they are cosplaying.
I mean, well, that's the thing. When they interact with their base character, they create funny dynamics. Like Rabbid Peach is in love with Mario, so when regular Peach comes in, Rabbid Peach is like, "Get the fuck out of here."
So she's Miss Piggy.
You know what? Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So-
that is
that is
actually
so funny.
that is genius. I love it.
I mean, obviously she doesn't talk, but like,
Obviously not, but listen.
but yeah.
Oh, Kermie.
Miss Piggy, it's all about the intonation and the physicality of the character rather than necessarily any of the dialogue.
The boss fights are great. As I said before, the combat is great. This is just a great game, and I needed to get that all out there now because there's a good chance this won't make it onto the bracket. But we'll see. Odyssey made it onto the bracket. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Crash N-Sane Trilogy, which I feel like spearheaded the era of remakes, like the era of HD, like high def remakes. Like
I agree
like
with that.
we're gonna completely rehaul the style. We're gonna get all the voice actors back, create this really special piece of art, and on top of that, it's just a really good trilogy of games. And that's all I'll say on it right now. But I would love to talk more about Crash because I love Crash Bandicoot. I've loved Crash Bandicoot back when I thought the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, franchise was called Crash Bash because the first Crash game I played was Crash Bash. It's really fun. Steam World Dig 2, super fun sequel to Steam World Dig with a larger world, more levels, and this fucking electrical circle that fucking tries to murder you. Like the whole game. It's pretty funny. Samus Returns came out in 2017. That was a real shock because we hadn't had a 2D Metroid game since Fusion, and I was always like, you could do that though and just make the character 3D. And then Samus Returns happened and they did exactly that, and they remade the one Metroid game I hadn't beaten, and I played it, and it's pretty dang good. Christian will tell you that the animation team did a pretty baller job.
They did.
I have that game now. I'm going to play at some point.
Thanks, Graham.
Everyone, Graham has it.
Can I just say
he does
that's
alright.
actually a rather impressive bar considering his previous track record.
for having games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You did
what
have
is,
Alien,
what is the difference between
Isolation.
Samus Returns and Alien
I-
Isolation, really?
I had it. I had
Oh yeah,
Alien
that's right. You
Isolation.
had it. You never played it.
You didn't
That's
play
right.
it.
Yes, because I got it for free from Epic. I'll stream me playing it at some point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, all in good fun. All in good fun.
South Park: The Fractured Butthole
Yes.
came out, and it's very good. It's not quite as good as Stick of Truth. They basically made Stick of Truth, and they're like, let's put a grid in there, but they don't know what to do with the grid, so it's just kind of there. And that's fine. Like, you fucking Morgan Freeman is a boss, and that's really funny.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, and like that's one of his
Fine,
attacks is
fine.
just talking like Morgan Freeman. Listen to the sound of my voice. Congratulations, you have been Freemaned. And he's the hardest boss in the game. He's a super boss, actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. It was. It's a really good. Yeah, it's a really good game. It captures more of the later seasons of South Park, whereas I feel like Stick of Truth celebrates the entire history of South Park. So I feel like that also holds it back just a little bit. But it is a really good game, and if you like Stick of Truth, you would like Fractured Butthole. Danganronpa 3 came out in 2017, and that was the last Danganronpa game ever made. And we talked about Danganronpa enough in these brackets, and Danganronpa 2 is better than 3, so I won't vouch to put it on if you guys don't want it on. But I think Danganronpa 3 has sometimes has some of the best cases and sometimes does not. It sometimes has some of the best characters and other times does not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more Danganronpa. It's
It's
more
a really
fucking-
definitive statement, Taylor.
Listen, it is more overly complicated murder mysteries, and that is great. Okay?
That's what you're looking
that's
for in a Danganronpa.
yeah, exactly. And I had a good time. It's also like one of the games that has sparked the most like you are either on this side of Danganronpa 3 or this side of Danganronpa 3. Like of any conversation I've had, people either feel this way about this part or this way about this part. It's fascinating, honestly, to survey everybody. Anywho, then there's a point-and-click adventure game called Thimbleweed Park. It was a Ron Gilbert game, and Ron Gilbert I don't think had made a point-and-click game in a very long time. You play as 2 detectives, a game designer, and a clown.
Oh!
A clown.
Yes. And the clown is cursed to never be able to take his makeup off, so he's very cranky, and he curses a lot. His name is Ransom.
So it's the Joker.
Um,
No
he's
one knew
too
who I
grouchy
was.
to be the Joker. He's more neutral, I would say.
Okay.
Thimbleweed Park is a game where finding a dead body is the least of your troubles.
Ooh.
But and there's also this really great joke where this one guy has to take on every job in the town. So he's the sheriff, the mortician, and the owner of the hotel. And the way you know he's a different person is he has a dialogue inflection at the end of the end of all of his sentences, depending on his role. So if he's the sheriff, he says Areno at the end of every one of his sentences.
Oh.
But if he is the concierge at the hotel, he says Abu at the end of all of his sentences. How can I be Abu of service, Abu?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's pretty funny.
If
2
you
more.
say so.
Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. It got me back into Fire Emblem. I had played Fire Emblem Fates. I got burned out by Fates. I came back to Shadows of Valentia, had a very good time. There are better Fire Emblem games that come out later that I would rather on the bracket. Everybody hates Ukulele, and everybody is wrong. Ukulele is great. It is a collectathon. So I'm done.
Okay. Can't wait for the comments on that one. Can I go next?
Yes.
Thank you for sticking with me, guys.
Of
No problem.
course.
I love 2017 games.
This is the first year where I had to, in order to make sure that I remembered everything I wanted to talk about, actually had to write down bullet points. Because 2017, as of the date of this recording, which is July 8th, 2022, 2017 is the current best year of my life so far. It was and I won't go into the details, but it was the year where I really felt like I had finally realized myself, and was the year where for once in my life, my crippling social anxiety was not holding me back from everything I wanted to do, and it was great. It was an amazing period of time. The only real life thing that I will go in detail about was 2017 was the year that I really kind of officially started going to improv club. Because 2016,
You went regularly in 2016.
kind of. I did that one scene where I made one person who I will not name do a scene with 3 kids in a trench coat, and I was very proud of that. But
Oh my god, that was great.
yeah, but 2017 was the year I actually showed up a lot because I was the treasurer. So
Yeah, we gave you a job to do. That was
Yeah.
You
fun.
weren't even there when you won. It was hilarious.
yeah, exactly. Because I was
Well, to
I
be fair, the improv treasurer showing up is actually a time-honored tradition of not happening.
yeah, I was the
Please,
first
that
person
guy
to
didn't
break the
like
trend.
I had Christian write a victory speech in case he won, and I read it for him.
Oh, sweet.
Because I had to do a performance at the time. I performed in a musical version of Othello, which was really interesting, like a Hamilton version of Othello, and it was really,
It was
really cool.
the first time I saw him frown.
Yeah. In terms of games, surprisingly enough, despite the fact that 2017 is my favorite year of existing, in terms of games that I actually played in the year, like while I was alive during the year, I didn't have a lot of major major great moments, except for the things that are on the bracket. The only big news is 2017 was the year that I actually did end up playing Kirby Planet Robobot. And it ended up being one of my favorite games of all time. And 2017 was the year that I finally got the most difficult achievement in Portal 2. And it was the one where neither you nor your co-op partner die during section 4, and it was a lot of fun. And those were two. Other than that, I think it was a testament to 2017 that I didn't really like. There was so much going on in 2017 that I just didn't play that many games, and I think that's totally fair.
I should mention that most of these games I didn't play in 2017 either.
Yeah.
But every time I come back and see that a game come out in 2017, I'm like, yep, that makes sense.
There is one notable exception, which is on the bracket, which I will talk about. Jordan, I'm sorry. Every time I hear you typing, it throws off my mind space.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I tried to type slower.
It's okay. It's okay. There is one last thing I will mention before I go into my honorable mentions. Something very, very notable that happened in 2017 for me. 2017 was the birth of an organization which some of you might be familiar with.
No, let's not do this.
The CIA.
It is the birth of WoW Games.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, is it?
2017 was the beginning of WoW Games.
I thought it was 2019. No.
Christian, I gotta be honest, you scared the crap out of me for a second.
I'm realizing now why that scared the crap out of you. I would not mention that.
I was like, he remembers that fondly?
I would not mention that. WoW Games started in 2017, and we made a little game by the name of Light Gun Gallery. It was the first draft of Light Gun Gallery, so it was not a really perfect version. But what was important about this particular development was that during the third Liberty City AnimeCon, we got one of our friends to put on a computer monitor, like one of the really thick computer monitors, put it on his head, and he would sit down in a chair and we would play a Light Gun Gallery off of his head. And people loved this shit so much that they would come up and play our game, and it was a momentous occasion, and our friend is a champion for doing that for us, like, honestly.
We could have been famous. We could have been famous from that alone.
One last thing I want to bring up about WoW Games.
Those cons in a morph suit. You always have the chance to be famous.
2017 was the year that I got the Bug nickname, which is the nickname that I primarily subscribe to. 2017 was the year I got that nickname. I'll talk more about why later. One last thing. WoW Games also got to make a Game Jam game called Chromopocalypse in Kaleidoscopolis, which Clanky, I'm sure... Yeah. I remember...
That game, I'm gonna just say it, that game fucking sucks. That game is not good.
It's terrible.
I hated that game. It was like a platformer that didn't control well, so, like, the worst thing a platformer can do.
It was so bad, because we were so ambitious, but we literally needed a month to make a game that would actually live up to our ambitions. And Chromopocalypse did not live up to it. What?
3 days.
We had 3 days. I remember, and I ran my first event. I think I ran my first college event during the weekend that was going on. So as soon as I was finished with the event, and I remember, Taylor, you took over right after, while you were showing Usagi Drop, I was working on Chromopocalypse.
Wow.
This was during Dad.
That's a rough combination.
Yeah.
That's a rough combination.
Mm-hmm.
That was the week I dubbed for the club Dad Week.
Yes.
Wow.
And
you showed Usagi. No. Usagi Drop is fine for the most part.
You made it very clear.
Don't look up how the manga ends.
Look, you made
not read the manga.
Very clear that the manga doesn't exist. So
yeah, it doesn't exist. And to all of you listening, right now you're thinking, oh, well, now that he said don't read the manga, I'm going to go read the manga. Don't you fucking do it. I swear to God if you do it.
Can I just say, this isn't a case of like, oh, like the Star Wars prequels are bad. It's not like it's a bad ending. No. Don't look it up. It'd be a bit like if I don't even. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it.
Yeah, because the more we talk about it, the more people are going to want to look it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The longer this intro takes.
Actually,
Before I start my honorable mentions, I'd like to formally thank all of you for agreeing that Super Mario Odyssey should be on the bracket.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Kind of a crime that it wasn't.
I am so happy, and I had a little bit of fear in my heart before Mick decided to give up his 3 entries that Mario Odyssey was not going to make it. I had a little bit of fear in my heart, but very happy to see that it's in here. It deserves it. Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony is a game that I put on my honorable mentions, and then a couple days after I put it on, realized I had made a mistake. Not because I don't like the game. I actually quite like the game. I may like it more than the first Danganronpa.
I do too.
The problem is I hate talking about Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony.
So does Clanky.
I despise talking about it. Talking about the game makes me like have a disgust reaction, and I really honestly, if we had to put it on here for the Yearlies, I wouldn't. I would just say no. I wouldn't say a word because I wouldn't even want to have discourse with it.
I mean, I'm actually a little surprised. Like I actually am surprised that you're that pessimistic about it. To be honest,
Yeah, it's a game that I really like that I don't want to talk about ever again.
No, I mean, I'll just say I don't want it on the bracket just because we've talked about Danganronpa twice, and Danganronpa is a franchise that is so difficult to differentiate between the sequels.
Mm-hmm. Crawl is one of the most ingenious multiplayer games I've ever played, where 3 people play as the enemies and 1 person plays as the player, and the enemies have to kill the player, and whichever enemy kills the player takes them over, and your goal is to win the game controlling the player at the end. And it's really, really cool. There are so many different enemies you can like take the shape of, like slimes or werewolves or all sorts of classic, like, you know, D&D inspired probably enemies. And at the end of the game you fight a boss, and the boss is comprised of 3 like appendages that each of the enemy players take control of.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. And you basically like work together as a team to destroy the player. So it's a really neat multiplayer game. Splatoon 2 was when I got into the Splatoon franchise. I played the entire single player and loved it, but I kind of missed the boat on the multiplayer. And I can't say that I'm a fan of Salmon Run yet, but I will learn to love it probably. I will learn to love Salmon Run. Rain World is actually a game that
Don't you hate this game?
I kind of want to talk about this game more when it appears in the 2022 end of year lists, but since the people, you know, just to give a quick rundown, I think the best way to describe Rain World is an analogy that Mick used, I believe, about Sekiro. I like Rain World. Rain World hates me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how I would go to describe Rain World. I'll go in more in depth with all of you at least at a later point. Fuggle is a game where you play as a bird and you fly around, and it is something
Can
that
I say it's got a really funny name? The game is anything but funny.
Yeah, you just play as a bird and you fly around. There's no goals, there's
is
no
it
anything.
Fuggle or Fugle?
Fuggle.
Oh, it's so much funnier.
Oh, Fuggle, Shuggle.
So the thing about Fuggle is it falls under the definition of a type of game that I dub fidget games, where they are games that I play when I am talking to people and need something to keep my hands and eyes occupied. So
Wow,
I
okay.
booted up Fuggle, and you just fly around an environment, and it worked great. It is no longer my favorite fidget game, but it really served its purpose, and I sunk like 12 hours into a game where you literally do nothing but fly in the same location. You can finish this game in 15 minutes, but I put 12 hours into it because I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it's called those games exist. They're called Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Well, I'm not sure when I'll hop into that.
Can I
but-
say it's funny because Hitman is that game for me.
Yeah, everyone has different fidget games, and I feel like
Yeah. Mine was Dolphin Olympics.
mhm.
Well, Fuggle is like a fidget word as well.
Fuggle.
It sounds like the dying words of a big monster from the next room. Like, oh, Mr. Monster, you okay? What was that? I couldn't get this. He says he's okay.
Snipper Clips is fun. I've played it exclusively with Clanky.
Is that true?
I've never played this game with anyone else.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
Then
it's a
I feel
co-op
bad
game.
for not putting Snipper Clips in my honorable
Don't worry, it wouldn't have gone on the bracket. It's-
I think Snipper Clips is just too funny.
Snipper Clips is funny. Snipper Clips is cute. It's not the funniest game I ever played. It's not the cutest game I ever played. It's just,
Ooh.
it's nice. It's a
Yeah, it's It's cute, and that's really all I can say about it, which
Yeah.
is why I didn't put it on mine. But yeah,
And then finally, ARRRMS. I'm gonna leave that one mostly to Clanky.
thank you so much.
but
Thank
what-
you so much.
What I will say is, I have a surprising amount of positive experiences with ARRRMS to the point where I am considering giving it my vote when we go to vote for what's going to be on the
More
bracket.
than
Oh
fuck.
shit.
Way more than fuck. But
Okay, would I be able to go next if you're done, Christian?
I am done finally. Sorry.
Yes.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So, ARRRMS. This.
ARRRRMS.
Let me talk about my 2017 first. I'll be quick. So my
ARRRRMS.
2017, my 2017 was it was I struggled to say it was good, but it was good for me. I feel like it's a year where I realized that, like, despite the fact that I joke that I'm invincible, I realized in 2017 that that isn't true. So, and even
That's
though
rather
like, it was,
late in your life to have realized that.
I learned when I shot my own knee.
listen, if I don't want to get into it really because it's kind of personal. But pretty
He
much
shot his
like
own knee.
2017 was the year where like I kind of realized that I can't just keep fucking around my whole life. I actually have to like work hard to do something to make myself who I want to be. Both like, you know, career-wise and like with school-wise is what I meant. So like I can't like just breeze by school. I actually have to study and do homework and shit like that. Not to say that I was never doing it before, but you get the idea. Either way. So I don't want to get too much into that because it can get a little personal, but as far as the games I played, this was the year I got my Switch because I think it's the year the Switch came out. I got it that summer, and ARRRMS was the first game I got for it. So that's a great segue into talking about why I love ARRRMS. I've
like the
never
music.
played a fighting game that like has such a unique concept to it that is like genuinely fun and interesting and turns the whole fighting game genre on its head. I really love the character designs. I think it's one of the strongest parts about that game. There's not a single character, maybe besides Toothpaste Head Springman, Springman, that like I don't like, but I like every other design I really, really love. It kind of falls into the problem that other Nintendo games have been falling into with we release this full-priced game with not enough content.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that, but if this was a $40 game, I feel like no one would be complaining about that. And if they are, then they would be wrong. But ARRRMS just does so much for me as someone who enjoys interesting, unique, fun games. I love ARRRMS. I don't know how else to say it other than like
They're a great body part.
We'll talk
pick up
about
things.
yeah, we'll talk about why my list doesn't have ARRRMS when we get to one of the entries, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Cuphead's on the list, so we're not going to talk about that. Mario Party's on the list, so we're not going to talk about that.
Mario Party is
Splatoon
not
2
on the list, Clanky.
I said Mario Odyssey, but if I said Mario Party, then I meant Mario Odyssey. Splatoon 2, Christian kind of talked about it, but I just want to say that Salmon Run, probably one of the best decisions the Splatoon team could have made. It's the best game mode, in my opinion. I love Salmon Run so much. The only thing that sucks about it is that Splatoon 2 is one of those games where Nintendo's like, we talked about this with Splatoon 1, but they're like, you have to play it our way, exactly how we want it at all times, and that's frustrating. Crash. I like Crash. Crash N-Sane Trilogy taught me that I can actually play Crash and enjoy it. So that's good. I've only ever beaten the first one off of the N-Sane Trilogy. I haven't beaten the second or third, but I do plan to go back to it because it's a lot of fun.
The worst one.
Yeah, and I really liked it, so that means like I'm very excited for 2 and 3. Night in the Woods is a very cute, cozy game. It's a game that makes me feel good when I play it. I played it originally on a pirated copy on my computer, and I liked the game so much and felt so bad that I pirated it that I bought it on Steam like that week or whatever.
I turned myself in.
Yeah, I literally was about to. But yeah, Night in the Woods.
Police officer and went, "Arrest me, for I have stolen."
Yeah. So Night in the Woods is great. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's really one of those games that you just kind of have to experience
Yeah,
yourself.
I have it on my wish list because I really want to experience it.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say anything about the game other than play it. It's great. Picto-Pix. It's just a really good Picross game. I love it, and
Oh, it's
the fact
Picross?
that yeah, it's Picross. it has the Steam Workshop, which is really nice because that means basically endless puzzles of like whatever you want, which is awesome.
Picross
I
is
love.
dope.
Yeah, no, Pictopix. If you like Picross, get Pictopix. If you don't care for Picross, then Pictopix is going to do nothing for you. And then, lastly, Doki Doki Literature Club. I feel like I just put the like for my honorable mentions. I always put a fun meme game at the end of them, and I kind of wanted to continue the tradition. It's not that I didn't like Doki. I really did enjoy Doki Doki a lot. It's just it's a game that's very easy to make fun of, which is why it's at the end of the list.
But Clanky, can I just say, first of all, I for various reasons will never play that game, but I do feel like it is a very impactful game for the year. Like it's got like a cult following of memes and jokes, but I feel like it is meant to be it is a game people take seriously.
It's a game that should be taken seriously. I 100% agree with you. I'm not trying to say that I think Doki Doki's just nothing more than like a meme popular game. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But that is the reputation that it has and can definitely hold some stigma
but I didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize that it has that reputation. I thought like
I guess just like in the sense of like, you know, people see it as just like, oh, that was another viral fad game that no one cares about nowadays.
Yeah, I guess I just I just don't think that's true, I guess.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't really hear many people talking about Doki Doki that much anymore, and like the new like plus version came out, and that didn't really do much to boost its popularity, I would say. It just kind of made it accessible to people who don't have a PC. But Doki Doki, the story is great. I really like how it tries to take like visual novels and like turn the concept on its head, which is really cool. The only problem is that it's one of those games that once you play it once, you never have to play it again. And,
I'm never going to play it anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So like, that's why it's at the end of my list.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
Thanks for clearing that up.
No problem.
If we move bottom up, Graham.
Yeah, 2017. I grew a beard.
Hell
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That was the year you became funny.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. That was. I would say I emerged out of my cringe cocoon, but I'm still kind of in it.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
Speak for yourselves.
Yeah. I got my first job at a Stop and Shop over the summer, so I finally had money. A lot of things have been like discussed. That was 2017. Christian Dinosaur Adventure 3D.
Oh my God! Wait, that was 2017.
That was like when we really became friends.
Yeah, I remember. Like I wanted to. I realized that Graham was a Game Grumps fan, and we would watch monthly best ofs. So I'm like, Graham, you should come to that too. That was like the first time Graham and I hung out outside of Improv, really. And I remember like I saw his camp stickers. I'm like, oh, what's that interesting show? And then he showed me Better Than You, the song, and we and then I helped them get Dinosaur Adventure 3D. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. In terms of games, like I probably could have put a lot more honorable mentions on. Now that I've realized it. One of my honorable mentions is on the list, which leads Rise of Zero Dawn, which is a game I have started but not finished because I got stuck in like a really annoying part of the game. But yeah, like everything about Horizon, just from like it has a lot of very interesting gameplay choices, and the world is just very interesting. It's like, what if robots got so advanced and started looking more like animals? Which is just a really fascinating concept to me.
It's my kind of game, honestly.
Yeah. That's the year I got the Switch. I had Mario Odyssey, which probably should have been an honorable mention, but it's on the list, so who cares? That was the only game I had on it at launch, and I remember specifically, like, I got some money, and my dad was like, hey, I'll go get you a new game for your Switch. Well, like, what do you want from it? And I was like, obviously, I had to get Breath of the Wild. Like, that's, like, the only other game. I remember I was literally on the car ride to the GameStop. I beat Mario Odyssey.
Nice. Just in time to pick up Breath of the Wild.
And yeah. And we'll talk about Breath of the Wild when it comes up.
Yeah. And now, I imagine It is Mick's turn.
Yes. 2017 was a great year for me. I went on a date for the first time.
Yeah.
And as a result, I also had my first girlfriend. And in 2018, I will have my first breakup, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But actually, I probably won't mention that because I don't really want to talk about it. Anyway.
Yeah.
What the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, that's right, 2017.
Australia.
So as we mentioned before, if I were to start putting games on the list that I played in 2017, or that I played that came out in 2017, it would just be a list of games that I played that came out in 2017 with no guarantee of quality of any sort.
Had to be 2017.
Yes, it did. Because look,
It's fine.
I don't do this on purpose. I don't hate you on purpose.
Oh my god.
You
Let me-
even if
I
you
should
did,
hang on. I should rephrase that.
even if you did hate 2017 as a year, it would be difficult to take that personally.
Yeah, no.
I hate the year 2017, therefore I hate Taylor.
Yeah. But so you know what? The fact that I just gave up and said, "All right, you guys can have my entries," is
I think
it's either
bracket.
look, it was either that or I put Destiny 2 on the list.
Fair enough.
Um,
Surprised Graham didn't.
I like it. It shouldn't be on here, but I like it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of games that I like but shouldn't be on here,
It's like the cheesy, the cheese sandwich of video games.
yeah.
Okay.
That's an excellent way of describing it. Now, while we're on the subject, however, of games that I like but shouldn't be on, my one honorable mention. Actually, I just realized I have a second honorable mention. I'll talk about both of those briefly. First, For Honor.
This is the
For
one you
Honor.
can't play anymore?
Yes, you can physically not play the game as I'm about to describe the game to you. You can no longer play this.
Because if you do, you'll get arrested. It's an offense in some states.
Much like Overwatch, it's one of those games that is so drastically different now from when it was released.
Oh, okay.
So, For Honor was a fighting game, but a very unusual fighting game in that it was a third-person sort of hack and slash. It's hard to describe this genre-wise.
PvP multiplayer?
Yes, it is a PvP multiplayer, but it is certainly a fighting game. The premise being is that this takes place in a weird fantasy world in that there are only 3 civilizations, at least at first, which are knights, Vikings, and samurai.
Oh god.
And
There it is.
the game is a battle between all these 3 factions. It has the way combat works is that you have like different stances, left, right, and up, and what's going on when you have to block in the correct direction that your opponent is attacking from, and you have to try to attack them in a direction they are not blocking from. So it is this very interesting game where you're constantly trying to like predict or like trick your opponent into dropping their guard at the wrong time or in the wrong place. But it's not like a classic fighting game because it's not like there's only 2. It's like there are 4 of you on a team in a big map with a bunch of random like little. It's kind of like a MOBA in certain ways in the fact that there are like a bunch of nameless peons fighting totally unrelated to your fight. It's really fascinating. Now, why aren't I putting it on the list? Well, the game was so buggy at launch. It's so buggy, and also it had quite possibly some of the worst servers of any game. Like you would get disconnected like every other match. Like it's an insane level of incompetence in terms of handling a network. And then why you can't play it anymore? Well, because they introduced new characters. And they kind of forgot that games, especially fighting games, need to be balanced.
Whoops.
Oh, so you can play it, you just
You
don't.
can play it, but you can't play it.
Okay. What was the game killing race or clan?
Yeah, so so that's the thing. They first introduced two new classes. They introduced the gladiator for the knight faction, and they introduced the ninja for the samurai faction, and they were fucking busted. And then they introduced the Chinese, and then they introduced just hero characters. Look, the game just really went off the rails.
I'm sorry. What do you mean they introduced the Chinese? Is that a faction?
Yes, they introduced a new faction, the Chinese. My point being, For Honor's a fun game. Was a fun game. It might still be a fun game at its core, but, you know, and I'm actually not entirely... I'll need to check with my friend Muhammad, because he still occasionally plays it. I don't think I ever actually found out if they fixed the servers.
I was reading some Steam reviews just to see if like every review was like you can't play this anymore. But it is basically the servers were not fixed.
Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, so that's For Honor. Then I just remembered I actually have another honorable mention. Assassin's Creed Origins. A game which I 100% did. And despite that, have so many fucking complaints.
I remember I was waiting for an Uber, and you just sat there and explained all of the problems with the story to me.
Yeah. I actually have problems with the gameplay as well, the more I thought about it. The gameplay is certainly far from ideal. And I do not have the time nor the crayons to explain everything I dislike about this game. That being said, I did enjoy my time with it for the most, like... I don't know how to put this. Like, again, I 100% of the game, so that counts for something.
Of course.
Like, that counts for something. But the fact is that when you ask me about my opinion of the game, the things that immediately come to mind are my complaints. Is also a bad. Listen, I'm really conflicted when it comes to the game. Also, just in general, I feel very conflicted about Assassin's Creed as a franchise. So that kind of also plays into it. Going from one of my favorites when I was a teenager, and then as an adult, I'm now like I find a lot of things I found really cool about it. I now find really cringy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that time when Ezio goes, "I am Venom."
Or when
Just kidding. I'm Dr. Michael Morbius.
oh god. Or when Arden Azunia shows up in Assassin's Creed Origins from Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that was so weird.
Oh wait, that actually
weird.
happens.
Yes,
Okay.
and I was like, I thought this was like some like weird like Assassin's Creed lore thing that I just like. Oh wait, did I skip that comic book where they explain what the hell this is? No, it's a Final Fantasy crossover. But the thing is that like it's like positioned as if it's like a normal part of the game, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yes, and then Assassin's Creed is apparently a canonical video game in Final Fantasy 15.
Which begs more questions, because wouldn't that mean that, like, it's just like, because it's like, hey, this takes place in ancient Egypt, and everyone in the Final Fantasy is, oh, what's that? A fun, wacky fantasy world, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, like alternate history, there's no magic.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great game. Fuggle.
This will not be the meme of the yearly 2017.
I don't
Happens
care
when we
if
do
it's
these is
fun to say.
Taylor figures out a way to crack me up, and he's thinking so far that Fuggle might be that thing. And so I'm gonna try not to crack up the next couple times he
The
says it.
moon fuggled.
Oh well, I don't know.
gonna make
I don't know about
conscious
the
efforts.
mix.
Whatever.
Anyway,
Comedy is experimenting, see what sticks.
All right, Jordan.
All right,
do you
Jordan,
wanna
how was
go?
your 2017?
Yeah.
Well, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't as good as my 2016 because my 2016, as discussed, was friggin' awesome. But 2017, I still was running improv club. I solidified friendships with, all y'all, Taylor, Graham, Christian.
All of us?
Well, not you, Clanky, because I didn't meet you until we started doing these.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just
I know.
fucking around.
This was also the year that I set two of my friends up with each other, and that went pretty well for a little bit. Had some
Oh,
pride
it went
in it.
great until the very end.
Yeah,
I know,
Graham
I
and
know.
Christian just weren't a good fit.
Look,
Sorry, Graham. It's a bit awkward between us now.
What the hell happened in 2017? A lot of that year is kind of a blur, honestly. Like it all just sort of passed pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
right.
Graham, did we see Justice League in 2017? Did that movie come out that year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2017.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was.
Yeah, and then you and me, Taylor, we saw Disaster Artist together that year.
I
Yeah,
was
20
also there. I was also there for
Oh, yeah,
that.
you were, yeah.
Yeah.
Was
And
there?
that's when we got, again, I was solidifying this sort of friend group in 2017 into 2018. And I'm glad I did that.
Graham, when did you and Taylor see Shazam?
That was 2019.
Yeah.
You were there.
Why?
Nick.
Yeah, you were there.
Don't you dare! Don't you fucking
This is
dare!
clearly a sore
Graham,
a
I
sore
went to a
spot
lunch
for a lot
with
of
you, okay?
Yeah, we went to lunch. We buried the hatchet.
Yeah, we went to lunch once.
Listen,
Yeah.
let's not let Zachary Levi come between us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he comes between a lot of people. 2017, yeah, it was an alright year. Did pretty well running a club. I made some decisions in running a club that sort of got me against some other friends of mine, and that sort of made things awkward for a little bit. But the bottom line was that I didn't lose anybody in this group, and in fact, I solidified bonds with people like Graham and Christian, and now I'm here, and now we get to do all this goofy shit together, all of us. So
I would go as far as to say I even tolerate you guys.
Wow, how
it comes
kind.
close some days. All right, we're ready to actually before we can't get into the bracket because we got to do the battle royale.
Yes, we have two games that we need to put into the Battle Royale. Now that we've heard
Yeah.
all the honorable mentions,
Okay.
Christian, can you pull up a notepad? Because I think what we should start doing is eliminating things we already know won't get on.
all right, I have the notepad already. Hold on a second. Hold up. Back.
Like
No,
I
I was
think,
gonna-
I think we've decided Danganronpa 3 won't get on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just gonna ask things, and you guys tell me if it's okay if I just kill it. So Danganronpa V3 is not getting on. I don't think Crawl, Rain World, Fuggle, or Snipper Clips, any of these have a chance of getting on.
I do like Crawl. Crawl's a very fun game. I didn't mention it because honestly I forgot about it, but Crawl is a great game.
Rain World, Fuggle, Snipper Clips. Does anyone care?
Get rid of them.
SteamWorld, Dig 2, and Metroid Samus Returns. How do people feel about these?
I don't.
I like them a lot. I just don't know if anyone else will have
I
played them.
haven't played any of them.
I don't care about any of them, to be
Don't
honest.
delete them yet, because if you're not deleting Crawl, don't delete those. You can get rid of Fractured Butthole. It's just a worse stick of truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about
Thimbleweed Park I like, but none of you have played.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I really don't have any inclination
All
towards
right,
Fire
Christian,
Emblem.
you're fucking with me. You didn't write Tukulele on purpose.
So I put I tried to type in ukulele, saw that it was Tukulele, and kept it like that.
It's the hit Adult Swim show Tuca and Laylee.
Tukulele.
That was good. That was really good.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I don't get the joke.
It's Tuca.
There's a show called Tuca and Birdie on Adult Swim.
Oh, okay.
Can I get rid of Doki Doki and Pictopix?
Yes.
Oh yeah, not Pictopix. No, it's fine.
I will say, there are better games here, but the fact that it's Picross means a lot to me.
I'll get rid of Doki
Yeah.
Doki.
No, you
Okay.
can get rid of Pictopix too. That's okay.
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 Can I also say? I'm just gonna say I think we should probably get rid of Night in the Woods, not because it's not great, but just because it's hard to discuss a game that only one of us has played, and you can't really talk about it.
That's
That is
true.
true.
That's fair.
I
We
wanted
can
to
get rid
keep
of
it,
Yeah.
but I understand. I understand.
I'm gonna just say I personally wouldn't have much for Crawl. I wouldn't be able to vouch for everything else on here. I would vote for over Crawl.
There was some resistance for Crawl, so why is that?
Yeah, I disagree. I don't know. I think Crawl's a really fun multiplayer game, and like you said, Christian, it really does take like an interesting concept and turn it into something great.
Do you think it's in the top two of
Mario,
things still on here?
Metroid, because I think, Taylor, you were the only one who were vouching for those.
Well, SteamWorld, if you want to get rid of SteamWorld, get rid of SteamWorld. But Metroid Samus Returns, I can't be the only one who's played.
I think you are.
You might be the only one who's played.
Is that right?
Because what you might be thinking of is Metroid Dread.
Well, no, I know. I mean, listen, if we're gonna end, Dread will probably end up getting on the 2021.
Yeah.
So if Samus Returns is a moot point, fine.
Mario and Rabbids I have played with my little brother when he asks me to, and I've only ever been exposed to the
glowing
multiplayer
endorsement
mode.
if ever I heard one.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those games that I'd be interested to try, but I feel like even after I do, I can't see myself voting for it over any of the other games on this list.
Tough. It's not going away yet.
I'm trying to care about Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle for Taylor's sake, but it's hard to some degree.
Can I say? I'm actually legitimately on Taylor's side. I can see why he sees merit in it, and I think there's a good argument to be made for staying in on the.
That's enough to keep it on. That's enough to keep it on here for
There's
now.
a great gameplay blend in there.
Yeah, I would say I want to get rid of these two.
I really fucked up that sentence. Like I really didn't even say words there.
Shadows of Valentia you can get rid of because there's another Fire Emblem game I would prefer to talk about later down the road.
Okay.
Ukulele I would just think would be fun on this bracket. Okay, there are lots of things I want to say about ukulele, and I want to talk about fucking Kickstarter and 3D collectathons, and I'd like to talk about ukulele if I can.
But we haven't had.
All right. Can I say this? You said this already, Clanky. ARRRRMS is a good game with nothing in it.
Tough, it's staying on. Tough, it's staying on.
ARRRRMS is staying on. ARRRRMS is staying on.
I love ARRRRMS. ARRRRMS is probably in my opinion, the best game on this list.
I mean, I have my 2 votes basically decided, honestly.
Well,
I think I have mine as well.
Yeah.
So do I.
Do we want to just say our votes, and I'll start marking them down and see which ones we get?
Okay.
Sure.
All right, I'll start since I'm at the top because I'm streaming. I'm voting for ARRRRMS, and I'm voting for Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
That means Mick is next.
Oh, okay.
Let's save you for last.
Clanky.
Ready for this one? I'm voting for ARRRRMS and Crash Bandicoot.
Oh my god.
Okay, Graham.
Horizon Zero Dawn and Crawl.
Let's see Crawl getting a vote. That's neat. Okay. Taylor.
Crash is definitely one of them.
So Crash is getting in.
Can I see where Mick is going to go before I pick my other one?
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna say I was gonna vote for Crash Bandicoot in Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh.
Then I'm also going to vote for Kingdom Battle.
Oh.
Which
okay,
actually
so
leaves us in a very interesting situation because Crash
So
Bandicoot.
we got to do a vote against ARRRRMS again.
I think that means Graham chooses between ARRRRMS and Kingdom Battle.
Well, actually, I was gonna.
Graham.
No, he's
Sorry.
right.
Graham.
No, what were you gonna say, Christian? Sorry.
I was gonna let Jordan do it, but. You don't want
Yeah,
to.
let Jordan. I would let Jordan do it.
Jordan, please.
Oh no.
I know we talk about Mario games a lot,
Clanky?
and sometimes we shit on them sometimes, but ARRRRMS is
You
so
see,
good, you would like it.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I feel really bad about this because I feel really bad about who I'd be.
It
doing
hardly
this at the expense
matters.
of. No,
It
seriously,
matters
because I'm.
immensely.
That's why.
Speak for yourself.
Jordan, pick what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, again, when I heard that a Rabbids game was in heavy consideration, my eyebrows were raised immensely because I don't really think about them very often. And of the two of them, like, I mean, look, it is a Mario game at the same time, but like, it's also a Rabbids game, and it's trying to be something other than a Mario game, and I don't know how much interest I would have in that. Whereas everything you guys have said about ARRRRMS makes me think that it's bizarre and ridiculous and
Bizarre
worth
is a
talking about.
And has
Bizarre is
no
a
content.
good word. Bizarre is a very good word.
And I
It
think
is.
that since we already have a Mario game in consideration that we've been
Ooh,
voted in as
good
part
point.
of this, I have to give it to ARRRMS. I'm sorry, Taylor.
Let's
And
go!
Fine.
All right.
Taylor. I think I gotta say, I think that's a really. I think that he gave some.
You're
very
right. I'm not.
respectable
I'm not
reasons.
upset.
Yeah.
Listen. I should say for the record, I don't have a lot against ARRRMS other than the fact that it's a full price game with very little content, and
the only
it's
thing
only,
I have
it's only
against
fun with a
ARRRMS
friend.
is my torso.
And I'll
God
say
damn it.
this about ARRRMS. It's bonkers. Because, I don't know if you know this, ARRRMS has rollback netcode.
Jordan,
Yeah,
what's your?
the online in ARRRMS is actually really good.
It's so weird, too. Because, like, it didn't start with the rollback netcode, they added it back in. Something that Nintendo has previously said is impossible to do, at least when it came to Smash Brothers.
You know,
Nintendo
Jordan, pick
is
a
allergic
letter.
to good decisions.
We're flipping
Yeah, that's
coins.
why they gave rollback netcode to ARRRMS.
No, that's a great decision.
All right, we gotta decide where this is going. So
Jordan, pick a letter.
but of what type?
Just tell me a letter.
Q. I don't know.
Okay, put ARRRMS in Battle Royale 3.
I have no conception of how this is working, but
Shall we just dive right into our first bracket?
yes. Oh, this is exciting.
It only took us an hour and a half to get here, so it's very exciting.
Well, took us an hour.
Rob Schneider
Rob
is Super
Schneider
Mario Odyssey.
fucking hell.
is Fuggle.
I'm laughing. No,
Rated
no, that
D
doesn't
for
count.
divorce
Um,
games.
Our first one is Super Mario Odyssey, which is a game I've heard of, versus A Hat in Time, which is a game I haven't heard of. And just let me just check who's going against each other in this. It's a lot of people put up Odyssey versus a Clanky pick. So yeah, you guys have 8 minutes to discuss these two. Who's going first, by the way?
Can I just start with an
would
apology?
I
I'll
would
let
like to go first, only because like I feel like I'm the only one going to be backing up A Hat in Time.
hang on, Clanky. I'll let you take the leads, but can I just say one thing?
Okay.
Like I won't go long. I just want to say one thing.
All right, so then Taylor will start with his one thing, and then Clanky's going to go, and I'm going to start the timer now.
I just want to apologize to you, Clanky, for forgetting to put A Hat in Time in my honorable mentions because it's a very worthy thing to be here that I think is very unfortunately seated. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agreed. I think that all right. Let me start from the beginning, right? A Hat in Time is a game that I've been following the development of since 2014. Basically, like, once I found out it was a thing that was going on, I followed that game until it came out. And I was in a position where I couldn't play it until, like, a year or two ago. So, when I did play it, it's very rare that a game meets all my expectations and then, like, goes beyond that, but that's exactly what A Hat in Time did. I feel like I've never played a 3D platformer that is as interesting, fun, unique, quirky as A Hat in Time. It is very similar to, you know, your typical 3D platformers in the sense of, like, you go around this level, you have a mission to do, you have to collect the trinket in order to get to, like, the next stage by getting a certain amount of trinkets, and then, you know, you go to that stage, find a bunch of trinkets there, blah, 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 you get the point. I just really love the level design of Hat in Time. There's not... Maybe if someone mentions something, I'll remember, oh yeah, that wasn't too good, but I don't really think there's a single level that I hate in A Hat in Time. So... they're all, like, unique locations. The first area you go to is a town called Mafia Town, run by a bunch of, like, Russian chef mafia members, and it's great. And, like, there's a level where there's, like, a film going on, and you have to basically choose whose film you want to back, and depending on what you choose, depends on the levels you play, which is, like, super cool. There's, like, a level that's, like, kind of, like, scary and haunted, and, like, it leads to a stealth section that left me sweating. It was very, very well done. I have a lot of love for this game, and I feel like, yeah, no, Taylor, when I saw that it wasn't on your honorable mentions, I was like, what the, does he not like, we've talked about this game, does he not like this game?
Well, let me tell you why maybe it might not be on, because let me say, I think this game is great. I also think it's, and I feel bad. I sometimes think it's a little overrated. Because
I disagree. I disagree.
I understand, and it comes down to this. I think the thematic designs behind every level are great. The choices they make, the music, the dialogue, that's all great. I am of the mindset that not every world is created equally, and I actually am of the mindset that the very first world, Mafia Town, is not that good. And you can disagree, that's fine. But to me, it feels like every world in A Hat in Time wants to have its own identity, and for mostly good points. Like the second world is like, you know, point-based values, select your levels. Third is like a mission-based. Fourth is like go in any order you want. The first one is like, it tries to be like almost open world, and I find that it doesn't work because it just randomly, arbitrarily scatters collectibles in a way that doesn't feel like you're being led to them naturally or that they are fun to collect.
You see, that's what I disagree with, because I know what level you're talking about. The Alpine Skyline, is that what it is?
No, I'm talking about Mafia Town.
Mafia Town. Oh, no, then I disagree. I feel like there's a cutscene at the very beginning of the level that shows you where it is, and it kind of points you in that direction. I mean, you have the opportunity to explore if you want.
No.
But I mean, I feel like the level leads you there pretty well.
I feel like for a and keep in mind, at the end of the day, this game has collectathon elements in it. It was advertised as being a combination of collectathon platformers and like less collectathon based ones like Mario 64. So treating it as a collectathon is still, I think, relevant to the discussion, and therefore I find that the way they scattered collectibles in that first world is not great. I also kind of feel that way about the third and fifth worlds, but and let me just say, I've been critical of this. The second, fourth, and sixth worlds are so good. Like, the second world is like, it's this mix of Penguin Dance Party and train film noir. The fourth world is like this colorful, like, almost Mario Galaxy type design approach. The sixth DLC one is fucking Cat Yakuza. It's called Yakuza.
Yeah.
And when A Hat in Time excels, it excels. There are just levels that I don't like as much as everybody else. Simultaneously, I don't think the game controls as well as everybody says it controls. It controls
no,
fine.
I disagree with that.
Those are fighting words.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think that it's one of the best controlling 3D platformers I've ever played.
I've never.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
I love the way Hat Kid feels. I feel like whenever I make a mistake, I feel like it's my fault, and that's something that you need in a platformer.
Hat Kid feels fine. Again, let me just say, I'm not trying to bash this game because I actually really like this game. But I had problems that did not really diminish any moment-to-moment experience, but moments that I felt were worse compared to others. And
Okay.
that's all I'm trying to say. Like I feel like you're like I'm coming out like spewing salt, and I'm really not trying to. I really like A Hat in Time.
Right.
I really do. I like Mario Odyssey better.
Yeah, we should talk about Super Mario Odyssey because we only have a couple of minutes
And
left.
like everything you said about Hat in Time being like this most unique 3D platformer, I'm like, yeah, Mario Odyssey does that, but better.
I can give a brief synopsis of Mario Odyssey.
Right.
Very brief synopsis. Mario Odyssey is my second favorite 3D Mario, right behind Galaxy, and it is magic it is a magical experience going into Mario Odyssey and seeing all the different unique locations that seem almost inexplicable, like these cities with realistic people, or these food places with weird color schemes populated only by fork people. Mario controls the best in Mario Odyssey, better almost than any other 3D Mario game, maybe except for Sunshine Without the Flood. And
wait, I'm sorry. That is to say that Mario controls good without the Flood and Sunshine?
Yeah.
That is so not true, but
it is very true, and I've played it, and I can prove you
I think I understand why you didn't like A Hat in Time nearly as much as everyone else.
Yeah. But Super Mario Odyssey has some of the most... While it doesn't have the most unique movement of any video game ever, its movement options are so satisfying to pull off that it makes it, like, totally, like... You feel like a badass for, like, doing sequence breaks, and, like, the speed running in Mario Odyssey is so much fun. It is incredible. Other than that, it's a 3D Mario game. The moon thing is admittedly handled, I think, better in other 3D Mario games than I think in this one, but I find that the locales, the theming, the expanded controls, the captures, as a Kirby fan,
The capture mechanic is great.
not all of the captures are, no, actually, yeah, all of the captures are great. And maybe except for the Moai head.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe Hammer Bro.
I like Hammer Brother. I like Hammer Brother, but that's all I have to say
fine.
about Odyssey.
Yeah.
Let me say then. One of the people complain about an overabundance of moons in Mario Odyssey, but I actually find it. I feel rewarded in moment-to-moment gameplay so frequently that there's like this secret around every corner. I actually played the demo of this game at Nintendo World before it came out, and I remember thinking, I got like 10 moons in 10 minutes, and I remember thinking, gosh, I hope there aren't the usual 120 moons, or this game is going to suck. And then there were 900 of them, or more, I think. I think there are 999 if you buy them from the store. And that was, and that feeling is incredible. And they hide so many great individualized platforming challenges. A Hat in Time does this too, with like its platforming rift segments, which are the best parts of A Hat in Time. But Mario Odyssey does that like 10 times that. And I feel like they have like these great retro side-scrolling aesthetics to them. The costumes are great, and they hide purple coins in such a way that every world feels like a self-contained collectathon world. And I find that like it's like an open world design in a more self-contained space that I feel like keeps me far less overwhelmed than I would in a typical open world game. And as Christian said, it's just so fucking smooth as butter to play. And some of the last challenges are super fun, and Mario Odyssey is great.
Can I say one thing about Odyssey before we wrap it up? I apologize.
Yes.
I just want to say that I really feel like, in comparison to the hourglasses that you find in A Hat in Time, Mario Odyssey's moons do not feel nearly as rewarding. There are a couple that I will say, like, when you get the bunches, they definitely feel more rewarding in that sense because it feels like you earned them. But the fact that there's, like, a bunch of them, like, scattered out, like, basically, like, you can get, like, 10 moons in, like, the first 5 minutes of playing a world or something like that. And, like, yeah, I guess they are more common, so they are going to be around more, but that doesn't mean that you have to just put them right in front of us. I feel like a lot of the moons are really easy to get, and that takes away some of the accomplishment I feel after getting them, which is not the case in Hat of Time at all.
But see, first of all, you're talking about a difference between 40 hourglasses and 999 moons. Of course, the hourglasses feel a little more involved because each one has a self-contained event, whereas in Mario Odyssey, no, but I understand that. But I feel like it's unfair to say that with the design.
No, because I would rather have 40 hourglasses that I felt I earned than 100 or 900 moons where I felt like I earned about 10% of them.
But the way I see it is,
even if there is a more like concentrated amount at the end of the day, at least I can say like I earned all 40 of the hourglasses in Hat in Time.
But the thing is, you don't have to collect every moon in Odyssey, and in fact, what it does is it encourages you to explore the levels in any way you want, and feel like no matter which way you choose to explore the world, you're going to be able to earn a sense of accomplishment, and you can take on as much or as little as you want. And it appeals to all age groups in that sense also, because if you're a kid, getting those extra moons is probably a very good feeling. I feel like it's more user friendly that way, but still hides devious challenges. And in fact, I think that its hardest challenges are harder than A Hat in Time's challenges, which personally I like.
So, before we go to the vote, the people who haven't talked yet, people like Graham or Mick, do you guys have anything to add on any of this?
I have two things. Number one, I have something that I would like to just quickly ask. Is it possible that Kyle could join? Obviously not to vote, but just to listen.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hate the name Kyle.
And he's number 5 too.
Yeah, he's like, hey, can I like just okay.
Hey,
Kyle, hello.
What a superficial reason not to have Kyle join. I don't like his name.
I don't know.
Wait, no, that was a joke. That was a joke.
No, now I feel bad.
Mick, tell him that was a joke. Mick, you gotta tell him.
He knows it's a joke. He's gonna be back in probably the next 5 seconds.
Okay. All right.
2, 3.
Okay, thank God.
And another thing.
That was perfect.
I messaged Kyle going, I'm sorry.
That was perfect.
Hey Kyle, good to see you. Clanky and I are fighting over which 3D platformer in 2017 was better.
Well, Mick has one more thing to say, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, so I should say, I have not played either of these games.
Is that true? Because you and I used to sing A Hat in Time music together.
It's very catchy music.
Yeah.
It was played a lot at GU.
No, I never played that.
No, because we sang the DLC music
We
together.
watched people play it a lot there.
So I should say, I have not played A Hat in Time or Mario Odyssey. That being said, I've watched Kyle play quite a bit of A Hat in Time. Before Kyle even joined, I was going to mention the fact that I haven't played it, but I did watch Kyle play it.
Right.
So my thoughts are influenced by watching someone else play rather than playing myself.
Okay.
And also Mick hates Mario, but that's...
I don't hate Mario.
I
I
know.
just think he's overrated in everything he does.
I don't like his face. I don't like his
Is
mushrooms.
Mario's name actually Kyle?
Incidentally, and this is
Super Kyle Odyssey.
yeah.
Oh, no.
Incidentally, and this is something that I just heard from other people that feel like Super Mario Odyssey sometimes goes a little too hard on the nostalgia with hey, it's quirky pixel art stuff.
I
That's
don't
fun.
feel like it's baity in that way. I feel like it pays homage.
No,
to
because
its
you're
franchise.
taking the bait. That's why.
Oh,
The only
that's
the
not
only
fair.
section
That's not
that really
fair.
felt,
By liking it, I have to be part of the problem.
Yes,
the
of course.
only section that I really felt like the 2D like mechanic worked really well was in that one section in New Donk City, you know, the one. Every other time it was like, oh, I guess I'm going in the wall again.
But I love those parts. I think those are among the best parts of the
And
game.
you can love them, Taylor. I'm not saying that, but I didn't. I guess that's more of the point.
I feel
I know.
like we should get to the vote.
Yeah,
because
we
we've
could
been on
argue about
for
this
like
all day.
12 minutes.
Okay, I feel like
Um,
there's animosity between me and Clanky, and I'm on his side. I'm just not voting for the one he wants.
It's no animosity. It's just you disagree on what game should win.
So the order starting off is going to go. I'm starting in the middle like usual. It's going to go Graham, Taylor, Christian, Mick, Clanky. So Graham, you will go first.
Here we go. Off the rails. Super Mario Odyssey.
No, I
I
lost.
preferred the butt one. So Taylor is next.
It's freedom like you never knew. Also Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I figured. Christian.
Skip me for now.
Okay, Mick.
A Hat in Time.
I figured. Clanky.
Hat in Time.
And we're back to you, Christian.
Well, I figured this was going to happen. Okay. You know, you'd think this would be easy considering how much I wanted Mario Odyssey on the bracket, but like A Hat in Time, I didn't bring this up. I also followed Clanky, I think, sent me this game while it was like in its early phases of development, and as such, I also followed this game throughout its phases.
Me too, actually.
I followed
I
this
was
game.
very excited for this.
Yeah, I followed
Yeah.
this game back when they were using Luigi's Mansion music for the fucking sneaker or whatever his name was.
Yes! Oh my god, I remember that!
Yeah. Unfortunately, this leaves me in a very horrible predicament where Super Mario Odyssey is not in my top 50, and I think if I played A Hat in Time, it would be in my top 50, but I don't know. So, it really could go either way here. Like, it really... What?
Christian, wouldn't you love to know what happens if you say peck on national television?
If I say... Oh, true. A Hat in Time might have more unique locales than Super Mario Odyssey, which is
No, it
saying a
doesn't.
lot.
Yes,
No,
it does.
It
Yes,
absolutely
it
does.
Yes, it
There are
does.
6
Oh,
locales
the
in a Hat in
Water
Time.
World. We
There are
were
like
just
8
in the
they're
game.
bickering like
Super
children.
Mario Odyssey.
They're
Oh,
bickering
the
like
Water
children now.
World.
That's
This
just
Everyone
not-
must be quiet. Everyone must-
There are not more places in A Hat in Odyssey. That is objectively false.
Okay, so now that they're both muted, I will
Hey,
continue
remember
with
when
my...
it was Christian's vote? It's Christian.
I'm going to unmute both of you, and you're going to behave yourselves. Okay. There we go. So, after deliberating on it for a little while, I'm still really not sure who I'm going to vote for, so I'm just going to follow my heart, and my gut instinct has been telling me for a little while to vote Oh my god, this is actually
suspense is
fucking
killing me.
horrible. I know, right? I know. It's fucking killing me. I
Christian,
don't know what
again,
to do.
this doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter, but like, ahead in time.
Okay. 3-2.
Clanky, we won.
Now, if you're wondering why I did that, I think Super Mario Odyssey is
I
gonna
don't
have a good.
care. Move on.
I think Super Mario Odyssey is gonna have a good chance of getting through the losers bracket.
Probably. Hey,
Could I
Taylor,
give my opinions on like the games after we're all done or something,
If
so
it's
that
quick,
I don't
yeah,
sway the votes during it?
We might be on a small time crunch, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, okay. I just don't want to interrupt what's going on, but I do want to like weigh a few opinions.
Yeah.
As long as they're not Taylor, you're wrong for every choice you made. Sure.
Oh no, I don't need to say that now to be right about that.
Oh my god.
You know, I feel like there are just two Micks here now, and that's not fun for me.
Um.
I like
So-
Ahead in Time, and I'm still upset.
No, yes, well, we're not. We're moving on now.
Now
This is
Jordan's turn.
honestly, I think one that could go a lot better. Considering
Well, considering this group, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
This is Prey, which is a grand pick, versus Use Your Words, which I put in as my wild card, but I think a lot of people would have put it in as well. Who wants to go first in this round?
I'll go first since I know what's gonna happen.
Yes, that's probably a good idea.
Can I just? Can I go? Can I go first? It'll be really quick.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
and
out of all the games on
I'm
this
going to
list,
start the timer actually,
Yeah.
and I'm going to try and be a stickler for it because the last one did not go 8 minutes. So I'm
Yeah.
going to try and take it along.
I will.
Yeah.
I will say one sentence and then it'll immediately lead into Graham's thoughts.
Initiate
Out
All
of
right.
all of
One
these,
stickler.
out of all
Go,
the games
Ron.
on here, with the possible exception of Hollow Knight, this is the game. Prey is the game I most want to play.
Ooh.
It's
Uh,
just Alien Isolation.
I have played some of Prey.
It's Prey in
Oh,
isolation.
no! Oh no!
But
Not again!
Here's the thing. Alright.
Define some.
I played it on my old PC with via Game Pass as much as it could run it. I very much want to play it again because it's a lot of fun. Prey is another game made by Arcane, so the same people behind Dishonored 2.
Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy.
Ignore like the fact that the name Prey is it's supposed to be a reboot of another game. It has nothing whatsoever to do with that game, nor its sequel that was canceled. It's honestly, this is a System Shock reboot. You play as Morgan Yu, who wakes up on a
No, Morgan, me.
who wakes up and is getting ready to go for his first job on a space station. The space station has like as sort of Art Deco design to it because this is set in an alternate universe where JFK wasn't assassinated, and we just kind of never really lost our interest in going to space.
And from what I understand, the whole alternate history angle doesn't really come up at any point in the game.
Not really. It's just more of like a this is what happened. Yeah. Of course, bad things happen because if they didn't, no one would play it. And you find the station has been basically taken over by a race of aliens called the Typhon.
Oh wait,
who-
really is aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are aliens. Yeah. Typhons who have the ability to mimic other things that are in the environment. So you'll just be walking around and like, oh hey, there's 2 coffee cups there. Oh god.
Yeah, it's basic. No. Like literally, this game is prop hunt. If it like was like a horror game.
That's okay. You sold me.
Yes. It's very much like a Metroidvania kind of experience where you have somewhat free. What?
Graham, you just keep talking, and I just keep hearing good
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Rep
have
Christian's
skill
through
trees.
memories.
You can gain the ability to mimic things in the environment. You can become a cup.
Yes.
I didn't know about this. Oh my god.
Yes. It's working. It's working. What should we call it?
You're losing them. You're losing them.
You have there are moral choices in it, and like Taylor, you'll like it in the fact there are many ways you can solve a combat encounter. Like, you have like the usual stealth. You have combat, or you can just get like weirdly creative. You could 3D print a Nerf gun and use that to open doors, or just annoy the shit out of the enemies for no reason. There are like I said, there are moral choices where you have to interact with like the other survivors that are on the ship, and yeah, it's a very, very fun, very interesting game.
Use your words.
Yeah, I was going to say we should talk about Use Your Words because we have like 4 minutes left. So, yes,
It's a game
what a
that we
game
have-
Use Your Words is.
That we have all played together
Yes,
multiple
many
times for
And we
hours,
love it.
and we've laughed, we've cried, we've like
hurled.
we've hurled, we've seen Christian laugh harder than he's ever laughed before. We've
I
made
can
Jack
talk about
Ruby
this.
jokes.
I laughed so hard at a game of one of these that I vomited atop a table.
Here's the
I forgot about that.
It's absolutely true. And listen,
Yeah.
I will say, I am sure there is probably more depth to a game like Prey.
Oh, yeah.
However, Use Your Words, which is essentially the idea of taking one Jackbox game and really fleshing it out in the way that people like Bardic Phone. Use Your Words is like that to Quiplash, where there are 4 rounds of minigames, or 3 rounds of minigames and 1 final round. 2 rounds of 3 minigames.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And you can Mystery Science Theater foreign movie clips. You can create a headline for newspaper, and you can really essentially just play Quiplash.
Yeah, essentially.
And I loved this game. And the truth is, I didn't think I would when I first played it, because I saw the trailer for it, and I said to the creator Breno Floss, "Isn't this like Quiplash with more steps?" And he's like, "Just trust me, give it a try, all right?" He like messaged back. And I did give it a try, and I have a lot of fun. And I actually probably in some capacity prefer playing this to Quiplash, because I think it's got a little more meat on its bones. There aren't as many prompts because the game doesn't get updated as much. But hey, good news, Use Your Words 2 is just crowdfunded, and we're gonna play the shit out of that, because I backed it. And it's like, all right, you guys have all played Use Your Words. I don't need to sell you on Use Your Words. It's like, whatever choice you make. I feel like Christian has already been swayed by Prey, which I feel like betrays Jack Ruby a little bit. But like,
Don't betray Jack Ruby. I have no social connection.
Jack Ruby is not exactly watching this with bated breath.
Yeah, also, that was Graham's joke originally.
I wasn't there
Yes.
for the Jack Ruby joke originally.
Oh my god.
no one is there for the original Jack Ruby joke.
Also, I do
Jack
feel
Ruby
like,
wasn't even there for it.
as much as I love Use Your Words, it does like, you do kind of have the argument. Well, half of it comes from just who you play it with.
I was
rather
And
going
than-
to say
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
And I should also say, I think the greatest moments we had playing it were quite often when we were deliberately undercutting the game's attempts for us to have fun.
That is
I was
also-
always
Yeah, the ones
playing
we were
it for
really
real.
tired.
I know,
just
and
shit
that was the
posted.
funniest bit.
Uh,
That was one of the funniest bits, the fact that you were the only one playing correctly.
my
like
funny...
the-
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, like the time where I exclusively used it as an excuse to challenge Graham to a fight.
Oh my god.
Armageddon!
I-
Armageddon!
I think
And
the...
the time where Christian was like, I'm gonna try and lose, and I out-losed him and just made him okay.
yeah.
You know, I gotta say, you're reminding me why I hate playing this game with you guys.
Yeah.
I had forgotten. I'm like, oh, I have nothing but good memories. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. We can never play a serious game of this because you guys suck.
My funniest
Taylor's gonna
moment...
I
vote
feel like this isn't the first game I've heard you say that about it.
We're
Like,
just-
I feel like there's a line of games that you say, like, I hate playing this game with these people.
Uh,
think
I
it's
hate
just
playing
us.
most multiplayer games with Mick and Christian. You're not wrong.
I will
They-
say... the funniest...
And by that, I mean I love it, but I hate it.
Yeah. the funniest moment for me was also kind of an undercut of the game's mechanics, where I think I decided that I was going to type Jack Ruby for every answer, and then Mick also decided to do that. And the thing is, before the first answer came up, I didn't know that the game would let you do that. I thought that the game would stop you if you had a duplicate answer. So when I saw the second Jack Ruby show up, I lost my shit.
It got to a point where there were 5 or 6 of them, and at every one, I had to turn away from the TV, and at every Jack Ruby, there was just a spike in laughter, and I couldn't. Oh my god. We're out of the 8.
I also...
Oh, we're out of the 8, yeah.
I also just... Okay, I just want to give the game one more piece of credit. I also just want to say, they have to create a fake answer, like one that none of the players create for every round, a house answer. And I want to say the amount of thought they put into those house answers is very, like, it deserves the respect, because people, every round, people vote for those. They think it's one of us. And it never is. They're good house answers, and I think like the AI, not the AI, but like the time the creators put into like thinking of relevant situations for every joke deserves our respect. And that's ultimately what it is. This game, I got way more out of this game than I ever thought I would. I'm very excited to play a sequel.
Like there's a surprising amount of he who funny meme answers in the in like the house answers. It's like kind of like it really took me off guard a few times where I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Listen, we have to vote. I always assumed that Use Your Words was on here because it was important to us as a friend group. I understand that there are better games here, but personally, Prey does not capture me.
Okay.
Well,
we're
yeah,
gonna vote.
Space.
And I think it's funny because I'm pretty sure I know what Graham's going to vote for.
And I now know what Christian's probably going to vote for.
Oh, so Graham is up first.
Right.
Yeah. Taylor.
Use Your Words.
Christian.
Prey.
Oh. Mick.
Call me down by the river because I'm out here to pray.
Oh, and Clanky for posterity.
Never played either of these, so
Yeah, that's right. Clanky has no emotional attachment to Use Your Words.
Has he not played around with us? I feel like he's
I've
played
never
around.
played Use Your Words once in my life.
Were you not there for Taylor's birthday bash?
I was there, but I was only there for Jackbox.
We didn't play that day.
No, we played Use Your Words. Oh, we didn't play Use Your. We played Jackbox. We didn't play Use Your Words.
Well, Prey already won, right?
Yeah.
So then I'll just give it to Use Your Words.
3-2.
Right.
Cool.
Is this the first time I've convinced people to vote for a game?
Graham, your argument was really, really good. It's like
I played like an hour of this game.
I can't wait till I can do that, Graham.
I should say, Graham, I was kind of gonna vote for Prey anyway.
I was
like,
not.
I've always, I've ever since Prey was announced, I've really wanted to play it. It's just, I have, I just sometimes there are games you really want to play, and then you just don't. For no reason.
Right. Yeah, I feel like Alien Isolation.
This next round, huh?
Yeah. This is Cuphead, which is a Taylor pick, versus Sonic Mania, which is a Christian pick, if I'm not mistaken. Who wants to go first in this round?
Well, since Taylor didn't speak up, I guess I could go first.
Well, I want to go first next round, so.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I was not going to combat that.
So Christian is going to go first in this round, and the 8 minutes start in 3, 2, 1. Go for it.
This is going to be the hardest round of the entire bracket for me, because the difference in my top in like my actual rankings between these two games is so minuscule that Cuphead, really beyond any shadow of a doubt, could have been represented on my list as same as Sonic and Hollow Knight and NieR. It really could have been there. I fucking love Cuphead, but I don't really need to defend Cuphead right now. I think Sonic Mania needs a bit of a boost, and that's what I'm going
to defend that either.
What?
Well, one of them needs defense.
Yeah, Sonic Mania might need a bit of defense, and that's what I'm going to try and do.
Maybe you do.
Sonic Mania is the game that finally murders the argument that people like to make of Sonic was never good. And it finally says, shut the fuck up, you're all stupid, Sonic was good, and here's why. Sonic Mania is fast. Sonic Mania has some of the best level design of probably, like, it might have some of the best level design, like, of, I don't want to say any video game, but I'm really tempted to say any video game. The amount of alternate routes that you can take to get from one place to the other is staggering, and the best way to even experience any of these levels is to just, like, look at a map of, like, the entire level up front, and just, it's fucking daunting. It is insane. What
Christian, I think you just quoted my arguments for Hitman 2 word for word.
Really? Well, Sonic Mania is a lot like Hitman. It's the Hitman of Sonic games. Sonic Mania is a game where you are constantly being rewarded for your split-second platforming decisions with amazing cinematic transitions to different locations. And they take now, obviously, one of the biggest arguments against Sonic Mania that will probably be brought up right now is Sonic Mania uses a lot of reused zones. Well, it's a good thing that the level designs of the reused zones are probably around like 70 to 80% completely brand new. Chemical Plant, for example, has entirely new layouts to fill out its entire duration, but then you go into the second zone and suddenly you are pressing down these syringes to make bouncy floors or going up like these double helix transitions, and it's like, oh god, it's fucking, oh, it's amazing. And then don't even get me started on like what's another fucking good example. I'm blanking on the zones here, which is bad in an argument. Flying batteries. Studiopolis is completely new, which is
you're talking about, like, okay, yeah, the ones that have already been.
Flying Battery has the trash compactor mechanics, which it basically completely cement the idea of staying on the upper floors is better, giving you a chance to recover yourself into the upper floors, while falling into the lower floors is literally falling into more trash. And it's like, oh, that's also cool. Metallic Madness has... Does anyone care about spoilers for this game?
Sonic Mania?
Yeah.
It's kind of...
I kind of do, because I'm almost done beating it.
Okay, well, I talked about all of the levels that
Why
you have
haven't
done
you been
already.
playing it on stream?
Because my internet hates me.
Sonic Mania has all original boss fights. It introduces the like these like 5 egg robos that are all like unique in their own separate ways. I just find that super charming. The graphics are fucking amazing. Like press Garden Zone. That's all I need to say, honestly. Like let's be real with ourselves.
First half press, second half garden.
Yeah, it might be some of the best pixel art in any video game. But
Hang on.
what?
Well, okay, pixel art, fine.
Yeah, and the music is actually legitimately in my top 5 favorite soundtracks.
Okay.
It like right behind Super Meat Boy. It is right there. The soundtrack is so goddamn good. Yeah, you have the DL, you have bonus stages, you have Chaos Emeralds, you have Blue Sphere. Oh, and the way to get the Chaos Emeralds doesn't suck in this game. It's amazing. It doesn't suck.
It's okay.
You think it's okay. I think it's great.
I do think it's just okay.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And I also think Sonic Mania is great, okay?
Well, let's talk about Cuphead now, because we have like 3 minutes.
All right.
Sorry,
listen,
I didn't mean to go that long.
It's okay.
Sonic Mania absolutely deserves to be a great game. If we're talking originality here and brand new ideas and better looking and better sounding, it's Cuphead. All right, I'm gonna just say this. Cuphead is the greatest looking video game ever created.
It looks really good.
I can't disagree.
You can't or do?
I can't disagree.
Yeah, that's the thing. I do not usually care about how a game looks. If it plays, that's all that I care about. But Cuphead is a 1930s cartoon that you play. And they put so much love and care into every single cell of animation in this game that it is ridiculous. The music is absolutely nailed. It's jazzin' and wonderful. I'm Mr. King Dice. I'm the gamest in the land. I never play nice. I'm the devil's right-hand man.
Yeah.
Fucking every boss is like, oh, this is such a good idea for a boss. This is absolutely a cartoon villain you would see in one of these cartoons, and the way they represent that in the form of a boss fight is incredible. On top of that, we talk about how like every level in Sonic is like this beautiful thing. the bosses in Cuphead, if every level in Cuphead is a boss, they're so, I'll admit, one or two of them are not great out of like 25, and the ones that are good are so good. They're these Cuphead is one of the most rewarding games I've ever played, and taught me to be able to raise my level of what I consider an endurance-based challenge, in the sense that it takes anywhere up to 2 to 2.5 minutes to beat any boss fight, which sounds like a lot more than a Super Meat Boy 15-second level, but in reality it just means survive for 2.5 minutes, dodging attacks, shooting shit up. And the great thing about Cuphead is when you die, the game tells you exactly how much progress you made, which gives you the incentive to know that you can pull this off. I never feel like I'm never going to be able to pull off a victory in Cuphead, and it's a great, immensely good feeling. You have a multitude of weapons, any of which way will take care of a boss. The play styles fit any method perfectly. The co-op is great from what I played a little of the co-op. I hear it's pretty dang good. And I just replayed it a week ago, and it really you really commit to the memory of having played it once. I really have a good hold on this game mentally, where I just kind of went in and plowed through the game, despite it kicking my ass the first time. I got to kick its ass because the game teaches you. The game has so many memorable, iconic set-piece moments that you won't really forget your time with Cuphead, ever. And they just released some delicious DLC called The Delicious Last Course, which I know Clanky and Christian have not finished, so I won't talk about too much. But it's pretty much just as good. Even more great animations. The music is so great. Someone else talked about how great Cuphead is for a while.
I mean, we're out of time, but I do want to allow people who haven't talked to talk about some of these, if that's okay. So, unless anybody doesn't.
Thank you. You're not going to say anything?
Yeah. Cuphead is really good. Cuphead is. I love the style. I love the fact that it's a boss rush game. The run and guns leave a lot to be desired. I'm not going to lie.
The run and guns are fine. I don't dislike any of them.
Sonic Mania, I just started playing, I want to say a week or 2 weeks ago. Basically, when I found out it was on the brackets, I'm like, all right, I finally have to play this fucking game. Because I got Sonic Mania, I think, for my birthday in 2018, and I just finally started playing it now. Sonic Mania is a very, very good game. I love Sonic Mania. I can safely say that without beating it yet. But all the problems I have with Sonic Mania are the same problems I just have with Sonic in general, which isn't to say that they're problems that are so bad I can't play the game, because that's just not true. Sonic Mania I have those issues with. Cuphead I don't. So that's really all I have to say.
Okay.
And the one other criticism I'll say of Sonic Mania, Christian, you talked about how they're repeating levels from other Sonic games, but 80% of them are new. The thing is, Sonic Generations did that already.
But Sonic
So kind of.
Sonic Generations did that, but Sonic Mania can also do that, and it's not derivative to do so.
No, but I'm saying it lacks a little bit of. I would have liked more original Mania levels.
I mean, yeah, that's what everyone says, but you're kind of technically because the zones, aside from aesthetics, are new. They are new designs.
No, but what I'm saying is I prefer Generations still, having played both of them. So it's
Well, you can prefer Generations,
Mania needs to be able to create more for it to be the Sonic I want to play the most. Great game.
I don't think Mania is hindered by its
I'm not saying
reuse
I'm not
of
saying
zones.
it's hindered. I'm talking about me personally.
Yeah. Huh? All right, I'm ready to vote.
The love letter to Sonic fans.
Unless anybody else has any comments about these two, we can get to the vote.
Okay, I think we're ready to vote.
All right, cool. Graham goes first.
Bev face.
I don't know
That's
what you just
Cuphead?
said.
Okay.
Is that Cuphead?
Yes, that is the name of my me brawler in Smash Ultimate.
Bev face.
Bev face.
Amazing. Taylor.
The Nuz.
I assume you're also voting for.
Oh, sorry. No, I wasn't voting. I was playing off what Graham said. But yeah,
Okay,
I'm voting
cool.
for Cuphead.
All right, yeah, I figured. Christian?
This could really if I didn't have any representation in this list, I really could have gone either way with this. I'm voting for Sonic Mania because I repped it, but also like Sonic Mania is my second favorite Sonic game and my favorite 2D Sonic game. So, which might be a somewhat controversial statement for Sonic fans, but I in the grasp of this group, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Sonic Mania is a fan favorite.
Yeah, I don't really think that's controversial at all.
I know a lot of people really stand Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the best, and I love Sonic 3 and
There's
Knuckles.
debate, but anyone in their right mind wouldn't fault you if you said Sonic Mania is your favorite.
Yeah. It's no Sonic Adventure 2, I'll give it that.
Okay. Mick.
So I love the aesthetic of Cuphead. I love the music of Cuphead. I love the designs of Cuphead. I am not good at Cuphead, and it is not the kind of game that I enjoy not being good at.
Okay.
Sonic, I used to play the Sonic Mega Collection on GameCube. I have Sonic Mania. I got it for free on the Epic Game Store. I'm gonna play it soon. I'm voting for Sonic Mania.
Okay, and it's all down to Clanky.
Cuphead.
Ooh.
Happy is not a total
okay.
wash. I knew no matter what happened in this, I would probably be upset. But it's whatever.
Yeah, this is the first round that I'm not upset. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, hold on to that feeling, Taylor, because
Hang on, guys. All right, no, it's fine. I'm gonna go first, anyways.
Okay.
we have Persona 5. Oh, do we not?
No,
have
I'm
Persona
going
5?
first, Christian.
Well, Christian,
Great.
Clanky,
really?
are you okay with that?
I guess.
Am I missing something? Oh, about him going first?
I know that I'm going to be the only one defending Miitopia, so
Okay.
I would have liked to have gone first,
Clanky,
but
I think
know
you're
it's a pointless argument anyway, so I'm
Clanky?
just going to accept defeat here.
Every time you say that, you forget that Mick is here.
Yeah, Clanky, what I was about to say was, Clanky, you underestimate how little I give a shit about Persona.
I understand that, but 2 votes isn't going to be enough to win.
Can we
for
just
Miitopia
start?
to win.
Well, let's see, because I have to
because
fucking
this is gonna
guys.
depress the shit out of me.
Okay, let's
let's
start.
the fucking matchup. Okay.
Yeah.
It's Cuphead. No, that was the last one.
Right.
It's Persona 5, which is a Taylor pick, versus Miitopia, which is a Clanky pick. We've established, I think, that Taylor is going first.
Yeah. Well, listen. I'd like to preface a couple of things.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Your time
First
starts
of all,
now.
yes. Okay. First of all, for the sake of Christian, who is currently playing this game and has not finished it, and for the sake of Clanky, who I believe would eventually play this game, I want to.
For the sake of Kyle, who's here and has not played it yet, but definitely has it on their bucket list.
Absolutely. I just want us to be very careful in our conversations. Graham and I are the only ones who have finished it. I believe Mick could play and enjoy this game if he wasn't so angry all the time. But
I'm not an angry guy.
Hold on, turn-based combat.
You just bring out the worst in me.
Here's the other thing. Because I know Persona's not your thing, Mick, I want to preface by saying I'd like for us to be able to treat this like we treated Bloodborne. And can we? This is
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
This is Persona 5 is my favorite video game. More specifically, Persona 5 Royale is my favorite video game. But putting that in the 2020 Yearlies is redundant because it's Persona 5, but an extra arc and a bunch of other things that made the game perfect. But that's just it, right? Persona 5, to me, is a perfect video game because they created one of the greatest ideas and they blended it with this incredible sense of. We talked about how Cuphead looks so good graphically. What Persona 5 does better than any other game is style. Persona 5 oozes with style every sense of the way. So it has such great narrative ideas, and the way it executes them is such an interesting way of handling. You're in a corrupt society where every teenager is labeled as a delinquent, a slut, a bad human being because they're just kids who don't know any better, and adults are looked at as the only people who can possibly steer the world in the right direction. But the truth is, in the real world, adults are shitty, corrupt, awful people, and the only people who really seem to get that are the kids of our own generation. And you take a group of kids who have all been labeled and fucking punished as outcasts of society, see the pain and corruption that adults are causing on the world. And thanks to the protagonist, they managed to discover an ability to enter what is called the metaverse and be able to perceive, you are able to see someone's evil, distorted desires manifested in the form of a palace. And you take it upon yourselves to steal their distorted desires.
I'm really, really, really sorry to interrupt you, Taylor, but the way you've described this just makes it sound like you found a teenager who just discovered Facebook.
Well, yeah, because Oculus and Metaverse and whatever.
I'm really sorry, Taylor. Please continue. I'm interested,
I was
but
on
I
a
just
roll,
could
Kyle.
not let that slide.
I was on a roll, Kyle.
You sly bastard! You caught him monologuing.
God damn it, Kyle. Fucking,
I'm sorry. I promise I'll be quiet from now on.
fucking,
Taylor, go on.
look at the distorted.
He threw off his groove.
I'm so upset right now. Fucking.
You got this.
So every palace,
I'm so sorry.
every palace reflects the wielder's distorted heart, and these are formed in the way of these are places that you would want to pull a heist at. And so the concept of the game is you form a group of thieves who enter this metaverse and fucking steal the distorted desires of these people to make them good people in the real world. The idea is that you can forcibly change their hearts to change society for the better. And it is such a powerful theme that is so well executed with its musical design, its costume design, its level design, and that's speaking nothing of the raw gameplay loop of JRPG turn-based battles that feel incredible versus this masquerade as a high school student, spending time with your classmates, bonding with them, unlocking abilities that further your ability to do better in the metaverse. It's something that Persona 4 and 3 did fine with hanging out with people, that Persona 5 took and escalated to an absurd degree, where Persona 5 is like crack in comparison to Persona 4, which is like just a nice joint. It's like the blend of gameplay is such a perfect, addicting game loop that it is so difficult to put down. Christian can testify to this. He spent the last week, doing nothing but playing this game because once you get hooked, you can't stop. And when I stopped playing this game, when I did finally beat it, both times, I got hit with this wave of depression that hit so hard because it is so difficult to find something that captures the feelings that Persona 5 was able to create in my heart, that every other game was just bad for a couple of weeks. I couldn't enjoy other games. Persona 5 literally ruined other games for me for a long time. The music is so good, the style is so good, the story is so good, the gameplay is so good. There's nothing truly wrong with this video game.
Okay.
And I don't know if they could ever make a Persona game better than it. I don't know if you can create a video game better than this. And yeah, I'm a JRPG guy, I got biased, but I have tons of problems with JRPGs, and so many of them let me down in so many ways because I have a very specific narrative I want for myself when I play these types of games. And Persona 5 just hits so many chords, so many correct things that I don't know if I'll ever find a game better than it.
We don't have a lot of time for.
We'll give Clanky extra time.
Miitopia.
Clanky
But
needs
No,
yeah,
extra
it's
we'll
time.
fine. I'll be quick. Well, again,
No,
I know
it's
no
okay.
one's voting for Miitopia, so
But
it's
I want to
okay.
hear
You'd
about
be
it for the
very
losers
surprised.
bracket.
Basically, a lot of the stuff that we said about Tomodachi Life, I feel like can be mirrored and put into Miitopia, but with the big caveat being that this, and Mick, I'm sorry, is put in the sense of like an RPG. So rather than you like just watching people from a bird's eye view and like seeing what they're up to in their lives, you have to like put them on a quest. Miitopia is not a game that you'll enjoy if you just don't care like the characters that you put in and everything. The enjoyment of Miitopia comes from, you know, adding you know, your best friend is like your partner in your party or whatever, and like, you know, someone from like a video game or a TV show is like the main villain or whatever. Like it's just a lot of fun in that regard. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. I don't really have many things to say to compare it to Persona 5 because again, it's kind of just a losing battle, and I've accepted that.
If I can add something to Miitopia, and this might benefit it in the losers bracket, Miitopia has one of the best, like it is the precipice of the Mii creation. Yeah. The character creation in Miitopia has taken it to such an extreme that you can really create just about anything you can think of that has a face. Like it's actually incredible.
To be fair, this is the one that you're talking about is the Switch version. It's not on the 3DS version, which is the version that I played. I know we're counting both versions, I guess.
Yeah,
but like
we're talking about Persona 5 Royale, so.
Yeah. It definitely, fair enough. It definitely does. The Mii creator in the Switch version is definitely like the best the Mii creator has ever been. But yeah, I mean, like I don't know. It's an enjoyable game. I really liked my time with it, and I thought it was a unique take on RPGs.
Clanky, you can vote for whatever you want, but can I ask you just genuinely, do you think if you played Persona 5 you would like it more?
Maybe.
Okay. We are over the 8, but if anybody has any last thoughts on either of these that hasn't talked.
Graham, you played Persona 5.
Yeah, I don't agree with Taylor that it's a flawless game, but it is still a very, very good game. There's really a lot more I can really say on it. Music is still great. I'm still listening it to this day.
So let's say some gangsta is this.
Doing a fly girl. Hit him with one of these.
And I gotta just say again, I do feel like if Mick, I feel like if you gave Persona 5 a real chance, there is a chance you could enjoy it.
Okay.
I also think, Mick, if you don't enjoy RPGs, you'll really like Miitopia.
Really?
I genuinely really think that, because the fun of the game doesn't really come from the RPG system and everything.
I should say I've watched a lot of people play the Switch version, and it honestly does actually look like fun. Not for any actual gameplay reasons though.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Miitopia, I knew if I didn't put it in my top 3, it would not be talked about because no one would have voted for it in the honorable mentions. So that's why I put it on my list. And in hindsight, I really should have put ARRRRMS in as my number 3, but I mean, we got ARRRRMS anyway, so I'm okay.
It kind of all worked out. Except for the fact that Persona 5 is going up against Miitopia.
Anyway,
that's the problem.
Are we going to vote?
Yeah.
I think we probably should. Graham, you are up first.
Hey, Matthew Mercer's in this?
Of course.
Persona 5.
Okay. Taylor?
Clanky, let me just say, I know that when Tomodachi Life is on here, I didn't have a ton of nice things to say about it. And I want to say for the record, I don't really have anything against Miitopia, but it's still in that vein of I don't really like making Miis, so this game really can never be for me. But I recommended it to my sister for what it's worth. Persona 5.
Okay. Christian.
I was in a really bad mood today because throughout all of my time working and then like preparing for the yearlies, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have time to play Persona 5 tonight. I'm just not gonna have time, and I have to wait till tomorrow, and I've been fucking pissed about it all day. Yeah, Persona 5 is a top 10 game for me. When I finish it, it's going to be in the top 10. And I also don't agree with Taylor that it's a flawless game, but it is a very, 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 very good game.
Obviously not, but can you let me have this?
Yeah. Look, I hope that you all go easy on me when my favorite game shows up in these brackets someday. But
I don't know. Between you and Kyle, I feel very.
I'm obviously voting for Persona 5.
Right. Mick.
Okay. I didn't see anything throughout the whole thing, Taylor. I feel like I do at least need to explain how I'm gonna vote here. Taylor, you might want to mute yourself, or you might want to deafen yourself. You can't do this.
Mick, you can be respectful. I'm not gonna deafen myself.
Okay. I was willing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna suspend because I know I'm not gonna like the gameplay. And I'm like, but some of the things I've heard about the lore sound interesting, and maybe I'll give it a chance. Taylor, and I'm really sorry, but I'm being totally honest.
Rip it off.
Everything you told me about the story makes me want to play it 100 times less.
Fine.
I'm voting for Miitopia. I don't know how much I want to do that either.
Let me have this.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, because Persona
It
5 did
lost
already
anyway.
win.
It lost anyway.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This is one of those unfortunate bracket scenarios.
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's one coming up in the first of the losers as well.
That said, while I haven't played the game, I didn't really enjoy messing around with the Me creator in Miitopia, and honestly, it makes me really wish that they do something with Tomodachi Life on Switch. I would love that.
Oh, if they made
Agreed.
Tomodachi Life on Switch, that would be the bee's fucking knees.
It
That would
really
be
would.
so great. So it's 3-2, Persona 5 to Miitopia, right?
These
Whoa,
Yeah.
you didn't
These
ask me
wa-
my vote.
I was gonna
These
actually bring that up.
bosses-
That's why I asked, because I wasn't sure if you would vote it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be voting for Miitopia.
Yeah, so 3-2, Persona 5.
Right.
The next bracket is Yakuza 0, which is a Taylor submission, versus Divinity Original Sin 2, which is a Graham pick. Who wants to go first?
Me or Graham? If Graham wants
Yeah,
to go,
that's
he
what I
can
was
go.
asking.
Can I just say something important? No Yakuza
Yeah.
spoilers.
All right.
No, yeah,
Sure,
just fine.
absolutely.
Not for me. Kyle.
So, Divinity Original Sin 2 is, surprisingly enough, a sequel to Divinity Original Sin.
What?
So you play... In this world, there are beings you can use magic called sorcerers who gain their power from the source. But it's not spelled sorcerer like the usual way. It's source as in, like, source code.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And
It's
you...
cute. I'll give it that.
Yeah. You are playing as sorcerers who have been rounded up, basically, because in the current era of, like, anti-sorcerer, whatever. You're brought to a prison island, and you have to escape. And then you find out that the God King of this world has been slain. Which is a good thing for you, because you can become the next God King if you play your cards right. You have your own personal god that's, like, in your corner. Here's the problem, though. Everyone else in your party also has the potential to become the God King. And there ain't really a lot of room to share. That's the basic story premise. It's a tactical turn-based RPG where, like, there are turns and, like, you move your person around the board.
Really?
Yes. The environment is designed to be messed with. You can summon a rain cloud over an area, freeze it so enemies slip on it, shoot a fireball at it so that it evaporates into steam so that way you can, like, run into it. Eventually it'll go back to a puddle. You can electrify the puddle so that way it'll electrocute people. You get a lot of freedom in that regards. Yeah, I mean, that very good game.
Can I throw something else in?
Yes.
There's this one fight at an oil well, and
Yes.
make sure whoever is playing the fire mage in your party understands self-restraint.
Yes. That's the other thing I forgot. Like, this is a multiplayer game where you can have one person playing each of the characters. It's the original game you could have 2-player co-op. Now you can have 4-player co-op, which is a very unusual thing to have in, like, an RPG like this.
So I actually really want to play this game, because it's a game that represents my newfound appreciation for both the CRPG and the narrative-based tackle problem multiple ways type solution, which comes into terms of both how you role play and how you gameplay. I'm also terrified to play this game because it seems like there's 5 billion gameplay elements to it. And it feels like it's going to be really hard to learn. I've heard people who say you should only play this game if you have a dual monitor PC, so you can fucking keep a compendium of how to play this game on the other monitor. I'm hoping it's not that bad. and I am very excited to play it. I could see it going either way, but I'm very excited to try it.
I should say, I don't remember it being that difficult, but then again, I was only playing one character.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm probably gonna play it on my own.
And I
'cause
played it
don't
on
know.
PS4.
Well, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
The other game.
if I could transition us,
Yeah.
Yakuza 0. Have you guys ever had a franchise, right, that you never played, but you were so excited to try?
Yes.
That was Yakuza for me.
Yes, Yakuza.
For me, that was Persona. Funny enough.
Oh.
I Yakuza kind of showed up out of nowhere for me, but the second I saw what it was all about, I was immediately hooked. But I had other games that I promised myself to play, so it became this balancing act of, oh, you just wait. When I get to play Yakuza, it's going to be great. You just wait. We just wait till Yakuza gets here. And then Yakuza got here. And holy shit, Yakuza was everything I was hoping it would be and more. Basically, it's like an anti-Grand Theft Auto world, in the sense that Grand Theft Auto and Rockstar Games keep trying to make their world bigger and bigger. And Yakuza is like, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a way smaller map, and we're going to densely pack it with so much shit to do that literally every time you turn a corner, there is something to engage with. Yakuza manages to blend gameplay styles so often thanks to its numerous amount of ways to play the game. You can play it as a typical beat-em-up brawler and go through a great combat system with a great story, with two great characters. In the bubble economy era of Japan, in the 80s, Japan was doing so well for themselves that Yakuza plays off that joke. Yakuza 0 plays off that joke, and you fucking just, every time you beat an enemy, money falls out of their pockets. You earn millions of dollars, millions of yen every time you beat up an enemy. You can throw money away to lure enemies away.
Do they like ever like foreshadow or like anti-foreshadow and say, I mean, we're gonna, money is basically worth nothing anymore, and it's gonna, we're always gonna have this much money, that sort of stuff.
I don't entirely remember.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, because it like the way you set that up, it reminded me of my favorite joke from the Big Bang Theory. Where there's the flashback episode, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna have Firefly Night, because that's gonna be around forever.
Yes.
That's a great joke.
Well, money is a huge component of the story, is what I'll say. And the story is very, very good too. So you can play it that way, but also it has some of the best side quests I've ever played in any game. There's a fucking side quest where you fucking team up with fake Steven Spielberg and fake George Lucas and help fake Michael Jackson beat up zombies.
What the fuck?
I can confirm that this happens.
Oh my god.
His name is Miracle Johnson. And then you can hire him to work at your real estate company.
Oh, that's wild.
Because there is also a real estate business. And you can also run a cabaret club. And you can also play darts, pool, mahjong, shogi. You can fucking race slot cars. You can fucking...
The slot card game sucks.
That's... Well... Here's the thing. Every minigame in Yakuza has the depth of an actual video game. The bowling is great. There's a batting center. There's poker, roulette, blackjack, koi, oicho kabu. There's so fucking much to do in Yakuza 0. And the game rewards every choice you make with an incredibly comprehensive completion list that I did every single task in. It took 122 hours, and I loved it. 100% of Yakuza 0 was an incredibly good time. And I feel like every element of Yakuza works really well. There's a couple of hindrances. The inventory system is not great. And I hope you like the city of Kamurocho, because it is the same map in every single Yakuza game. But that's all the more reason that you play this one first, and you basically have the best experience. And then the series, you get to play off each subsequent Yakuza game.
Wow.
I'm going to turn it over to Christian, who I'm sure has tons of Yakuza 0 things to say.
I don't have tons, but I'll wrap things up in a bow by saying
So many good things to say.
I actually have one quick question I just want to ask.
Sure.
So is this one of those? Because I know it is a prequel. Is it one of those prequels that it
You
is better
start
to
here.
play? What?
You start here.
Okay, cool. Just
Yeah.
curious.
It's where I'm starting, and in fact, I actually I like Yakuza 0 so much that I've started a tradition with myself where every time the holiday season rolls around, I'm playing another Yakuza game.
Yeah,
Somewhat similar
Meg-
to how every summer, around the July 4th time, I play a Persona game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yakuza 0 it's the kind of game where not every game is a 10 out of 10, unfortunately. Not every individual thing you can do in Yakuza 0 is a perfect 10, but there are some things that you can just get so sucked into. Like, personally, I played a lot of the Cabaret Club. I thought that one was a lot of fun.
Which is essentially like Diner Dash.
Yeah. I thought that one was a blast. And I also played quite a bit of baseball, surprisingly enough. But I think what sold me on Yakuza 0 more than anything was the main gameplay. The main gameplay sections, the beat-em-up sections. What first hooked me on Yakuza 0 was playing through the first level, because I will not spoil what happens in the first level, but it is such a goddamn spectacle that you will just be sitting there with your jaw on the ground playing through this insane fever dream, and it is truly outstanding, and those are the parts where I think Yakuza 0 shines the most. But
So much style.
yes, not as much as Persona 5, but plenty of style, you know?
Yeah. By the way, Mick, I just want to further extend my point. You could play Yakuza 1 first, you could play Yakuza 0 when it came out, but they designed Yakuza 0 in such a way that it actually has better payoff for the series to start at 0. Like,
Okay.
that's how much of, like, you absolutely... Like, there's one side quest that will foreshadow things that you will do in sequel games, but, like, it's a moot point. You start here.
Okay, yeah. It was more just like idle curiosity rather than should I start here or here. I was just curious, you know.
Okay.
If I could add something, it's been on my bucket list for a while, but the way you've described it, Taylor, has made me more interested to play it. I might just move it up on the bucket list.
Thanks, Kyle. That's really nice. No one ever says that about things I say here.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All
Sorry.
right.
Is it voting time?
I mean, we're not. We don't have a ton of time left, so I would
Okay.
say, unless anybody has any final thoughts about these, we should probably get to the vote.
I'm surprised we have time left.
No, we don't have any time left. I was being modest.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All right.
excited to play Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'd love to play it cooperatively with you guys. The problem is, you guys would have to commit to my schedule, which is, I want to play it all the time.
Right.
That's easier to arrange with me than I think you might assume.
Fair enough.
And I'm planning on staying in my job until at least January.
Well, then I'll hit you up in 2023.
All right.
Expect a call.
We'll call you.
Graham, it's time.
So
And then you fucking just...
Literally 5 minutes after the call we have here is over.
I'm sorry. No, he's working at Target, right? And he's like, all right, will that be cash or credit? He gets a phone call. Oh, I'm sorry. One moment, sir. It's time. Fuck you! I quit!
I don't even work the
Amazing.
cashiers.
It'll be cash. Steals all the money in the cash register and runs off.
Hey, John, it turns out you can't play Divinity Original Sin 2 in prison.
And then we break Graham out of prison.
Oh my God.
All right, it's
So,
voting time.
We should probably vote. So,
Sorry.
the first person voting now, because the order has changed because we're in 4, is Taylor.
Yeah, still Yakuza 0. Yakuza, it was like a fantasy come true.
Christian.
Yakuza 0 is not in my top 50, but it is so close that sometimes I think it is. And my time playing Yakuza 0 during the Christmas season last year has really stuck with me as just a wonderful experience. And I look forward to playing Yakuza Kiwami this year and beating the shit out of more people in increasingly violent ways. So, Yakuza 0 for me.
Okay. Mick.
Okay, so I've only played Divinity Original Sin 2, and so I have not played Yakuza. I have not played Yakuza 0. Now I should say, the Divinity series, almost every single installment of the Divinity series has been half baked, except for Divinity Original Sin 1, which was 3/4 baked. Divinity Original Sin 2 is the first time Larian Studios has ever actually followed the recipe and baked it for the full amount of time it needed to be cooked. Even still, okay, I'm voting for Divinity Original Sin 2 only because I've played it, and for no other reason than I think if I play Yakuza 0, I might. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
You can play the crane game in Yakuza 0.
I know. It's like I want to race stock cars because I love slot cars because I love racing slot cars. But then Christian tells me it sucks.
Well,
and
actually, no. I
you know what
might,
it, you know what
just
it
not
is.
like racing
You know what
slot
it is,
cars.
Mick. It's math. You need to know the right combination of parts.
Which you'd think I'd be down for, but I'm not. I find the slot cars annoying. But
hang on, Christian, do you enjoy slot cars in real life?
that's the thing. I don't know if I do. So.
Oh, okay.
So you might actually get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Okay. Yeah, because I used to go to slot. I used to go slot car racing a lot when I was a kid.
Me too.
So Mick, you are still voting for the.
I'm gonna vote for Original Sin 2, but hypothetically in the future, if I play Yakuza 0 at some point, can we come back to this or something? I don't know. All right, yeah. Anyway.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Clanky.
I'm giving it to Yakuza.
Okay.
Out of the two games, it's the one I have the more interest of playing because I've never played either of these games, but Yakuza seems like the one that's more my speed.
And Graham.
Divinity.
Okay, 3-2 for Yakuza.
I think it's been since like 2010 that we had this many 3-2s.
Well, we had a bunch last
This
time.
is a tough year.
Right? Yeah.
This is a
There's
rough
so many
year.
good games.
We move now to Hollow Knight, which is a Christian pick versus ARRRRMS.
ARRRRMS!
Clanky, I never thought it would be like this.
Who wants to go first?
It has to be this way.
It's got to be Christian, right?
I think so, right?
I don't care. Because what I'm going to say is, Jordan, when I start my explanation, you interrupt me when 4 minutes passes.
Okay.
So, I want
As you wish.
I want you to do that so that my...
Because he'll keep talking otherwise.
Yes,
I'm trying to be nice, but like...
Do
yeah.
not
Don't
be
be nice
nice
to
to
him.
Tell me to shut up.
Okay, because there's a lot of people here that I really don't like telling to shut up, but I will make an exception.
You can tell me to shut up. Clanky, do you care if I go first or not? I heard go ahead, so...
Okay, starting 3, 2, 1, go for it.
The word that I would use to describe Hollow Knight is freedom. That is the word that I would use to describe this video game. It is a game where you are dropped into a world and you are immediately given more than one option of where to go, and you can just go wherever you want. There are so many instances where you play through this game, and the game just... You think of this thing you want to do, and the game will just let you do this thing. At a certain point in the game, you basically have access to, from 4 areas. Suddenly you have gained access to 12 areas, and you can like choose which ones you want to go to, because now the world is completely opened up to you. And even the game starts you off small. You can go in one area, you can go down 2 paths, maybe 4 paths. So many different areas you can go. But once the game opens up and it's sprawling, you can suddenly go wherever you want, and it is one of the best things ever made. Hollow Knight has an art style that's mostly sort of these hand-drawn bug people, and there's an enemy compendium of probably more than like 100 enemies in the full compendium, with full bestiary descriptions of each one, for anyone who's a big fan of bestiaries. You start off the game it's a Metroidvania 2D side-scroller. You start off the game in this position where you're sort of like you're walking down corridors, you're kind of cautious, but by the time you get all of the upgrades in the game, it turns into a 2D platformer that rivals the likes of Celeste in terms of its mechanics and versatility. Like, people have come up with some insane shit. You can DuckTales Pogo Stomp. You get I don't want to spoil like other things you get in this game, but like there are loads of platforming options that let you not only do platforming but combat in unique ways. There are more than like 30 to 40 charms that you can equip on your character that do different things. One of them is like a retaliation attack that sort of like whenever you get hit shoots out thorns, or there's the ones that encase you in a shell so you can heal. By the way, every time you hit an enemy you get this thing called like essence, or not essence, that's the dream essence stuff, but you get like the soul meter, and as you fill up on soul, you can use that to heal yourself in the midst of battle. So every single encounter in the game lets you either go aggressive, go ham, go fight this thing, fight it, or you can sit down and like, I gotta find a good time to heal. I gotta find a good time to heal. And you gotta like watch the enemy's attacks to find the openings to heal. And if you pull off that heal and you win because you pulled off that heal, it is the greatest thing in the world. The boss fights are every single boss fight in this video game is fucking amazing, because they're these, it ranges from giant bug creatures to like, you know, like people
Tiny bug creatures
with sharp objects that attack you, and it's every single boss has like 10 different attacks that you have to like look out for and watch their patterns and see all this different stuff. And the game finally is loaded with surprises. Every single time you walk down a corridor, you're not sure what you're going to get. The lore is not spoon-fed to you. The game will never, except for like one exception, it will never stop you to tell you where to go, what to do, or what's going on. Instead, you are going to find out all of that by inspecting things yourself, finding out the plot yourself, and being told where to go by you, because you're deciding where to go. This is your adventure, God damn it. You know? This is not Mr. Tutorial Man who's telling you to go save the princess's adventure. No, it's not like that. This is your adventure, and you're doing what you want because you want to do it. And that's what makes Hollow Knight great. That's what makes it amazing. And the music is all orchestrated. It's fucking piano pieces. It's fucking incredible. And when I played this game for the first time, I can't, man.
Tearing up?
I cosplayed as one of the characters.
Were you tearing up just then?
Yes! This is my 4th favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
I know my time's about to run out, but...
Yeah, we're at 4 minutes, so...
Okay, yeah, just shift over.
Okay.
ARRRRMS!
Do I look
Christian was
like I
crying
play
and you
ARRRRMS?
going with arms?
That's
those
one
are
for
hands.
arms.
So-
can I just say? It's okay. I'll say it afterwards. Go ahead, Clanky.
I've kind of said most of this already in the honorable mentions battle royale discussion thing, but ARRRRMS is one of the most unique takes on any fighting game I've ever seen, and I really enjoy it for that. I wanted to also spend since we've talked about like the fighting mode and everything, I wanted to also shed some light on the like the side modes. There's a basketball mode and a volleyball mode. And, like, the basketball mode, fine, I'll admit it's a little stinky. Like, it's not the best. But the volleyball mode is, in my opinion, if it was a little bit more in-depth, it would rival the main game. I really like the idea of volleyball, but your arms can stretch out to God knows whatever length. By the way, I don't think we mentioned that. That's the whole point of this game, right? Is that you're fighting each other, and your arms can get really, really, like, long. They're like springs or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's called My Life.
The idea is that, like, you'd be able to, like, hit an opponent from really far away, because your arms are so, like, stretchy. Each one of the characters has, like, their own unique, like, they're called arms, but they're, I guess more accurately, they're, like, hands or fists that you get that, like, can change depending on, you know, what they are. So, like, there's one that's, like, a homing rocket, there's one that's, like, it's like this blob thing that covers your screen with when you get hit. They're like your generic like punchy arms or whatever. There's like zap arms that make your opponent's arms like go down because they don't work properly for a little bit. It's very unique, and the characters that you pick all have not only their own unique arms, but they also have their own unique abilities as well. Like one of the characters, Ribbon Girl, can jump 4 times. One of the, like, this Bite and Bark, who gets a little ally with him the entire fight, and he just kind of randomly punches you at times. They're all, like, there's not one character on the roster that feels like any other character, with the exception of Spring Man and Spring Tron, which is essentially a Ryu and Ken situation. But, yeah, I also just really want to say really quick that if I played Hollow Knight, I'd probably be voting for it.
You didn't play Hollow Knight?
I've never played Hollow Knight. I've always wanted to, I never have.
Christian never got you to play Hollow Knight.
I'm pretty sure he's been on hands and knees begging me, but I haven't done it yet. And Christian, I'm sorry, but I will eventually.
I don't often, like, It's totally fine. I know you're playing games at your own pace.
Even though I probably would love Hollow Knight more than ARRRMS if I played Hollow Knight, I still need to go up to bat for ARRRMS as being one of the most unique games of 2017 and being fun at that. If my only problem with the game is the price, that's not a problem for me because you can always find it cheaper, or at the very least the price will go down if it really is necessary.
Clanky, would it be bad manners of me to bring price into the argument for who to vote for?
I agree with
I
Christian.
get it, but I disagree with the argument only because, like, the price of the game, I like, you can say, like, I don't know, like, Earthbound is a game that you need to pay $100 for, right? Is
Yeah.
it worth $100? You know, like, to me, that's not a fair argument.
No, but
especially because, like, later on, but if it's an argument you need to make, then I understand, because ARRRMS, again, is not worth $60. I'll fully admit that. But I'm not judging it based on the price. I'm judging it based on the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
The price is not important in this argument, so I won't bring it up.
Well, can I say something on that
Okay.
front, actually? Because I agree with you, Christian.
Mhm.
Because here's my thing. You're right, Clinky. I respect the hell out of ARRRMS' ideas. First of all, this game is still, like, if you want a brand new copy, it's still like $50. If you want to find a used copy, you're not going to get it that much cheaper. Even a loose cartridge is like $35.
Yeah, that's the
And
problem
what
with Switch games, honestly.
So what you're saying is that ARRRMS costs an arm and a leg.
No, just an arm.
An arm and an arm.
There's
Arms.
here's the sad truth is, Clinky, I feel like I will, if I buy this game, I will play it once, and then I will have experienced everything about it. I won't have anyone to play it with, and if I do have someone to play it with, we're probably going to play a different game instead. And it's a shame. It is a shame, but this is one of the rare examples in these yearlies where I feel like the value versus the price is a factor for me, at least. And if they gave it like a more in-depth story mode, or like individual character-based challenges, maybe, maybe in another world, this could. I think its value is part of the reason that it's not more talked about today. I have more memories over having a dream that Min Min would get into Smash despite having not played ARRRMS. And Christian texting me, so did you see the Smash Direct? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, ARRRMS? ARRRMS? ARRRMS! To be clear, I assume that's how he said it. It's difficult to know what he's saying.
That
through
day was
text.
kind of a blur.
It was strange because it was screams of excitement because I was actually excited for an ARRRMS character.
No, that's the other thing. He like screams ARRRMS over and over again, and then he goes, and you know what the worst part is? I'm super excited.
Wow.
I wanted Bite and Bark. It's so fucking bad.
And then
We're-
got
we've
it.
been
So
out of
it's
time.
like I
We've been out of time for
respect
a bit.
ARRRMS. And that's not even talking about how much I love Hollow Knight, which, like, obviously I can't match Christian's enthusiasm. And I'll even say, the platforming is great. It doesn't hold a candle to the combat, and I don't think it's better than Celeste's platforming, which we're not even talking about right now.
I don't think it's better than Celeste, but I think it lives up to Celeste in its mechanical options.
I think that there are a couple of really great platforming challenges, but my memories from Hollow Knight are from great bosses and from great, like, combat that I felt like you really have to engage, be on the move. That's a great thing for these games. It worked for me in a way in 2D that I only hope Dark Souls can eventually do in 3D for me. But I also love Hollow Knight. ARRRMS!
Jesus Christ, Taylor. Any other last comments about either of these games before we vote?
Hollow Knight is my
Hollow Knight, I swear.
Hollow Knight is my favorite game that I own on 3 separate systems, despite only buying it once.
Which is a small, like, sample size.
You always wonder what Graham is going to say next.
Yes,
That's
keep them
the
on
best
the
part of the
toes.
game.
Keep them on the toes.
Yeah.
I bought it on Steam, forgot about it, even though one of our first test recordings for Cat's Arcade was me and Christian playing Hollow Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Christian bought it for me on Switch.
Hell Hell yeah.
That's what I played the most of because I got up to like a certain boss. I was like, I don't know if I could beat this. I'm just gonna take a break, and I haven't gone back.
You can.
And then you
I know.
got blackout drunk one night and bought it on Epic Games Store.
Oh my
No,
God.
and then it was free for PS Plus.
Okay, got it. Okay,
But Graham, you don't drink, right?
I don't.
that's why he blacked out that one
Yeah.
time. That's why he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have 50 Hollow Knights.
Look, Graham. Hollow Knight copies say.
I have so
"A
many they
million of me."
combined. I bought so many they combined into Hold Night.
Whole night. I'm ready to vote, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Taylor, you are up first.
As much as I'd love to scream ARRRRMS again, Hollow Knight is the better game.
Yeah. Christian. Sorry.
It's just not fair for ARRRRMS, honestly. It's just not even fair. like poor ARRRRMS.
Poor
It didn't
ARRRRMS.
deserve this. Hollow Knight.
Yeah. Mick.
Oh,
Okay. Clanky.
Arms.
And Graham.
Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Nice. Yay! One of my favorite games ever got the first 4-1.
Hollow Arms. Oh, sorry. Hang on.
Oh my God.
Wow, that joke killed him.
Oh God, are you okay? This is severe.
I'm sorry. It
I
was
think
just,
Taylor's
Oh my
arms
God.
just went hollow.
Min forced her arms down
No,
Taylor's
stop.
throat.
I'm gonna stop.
Hollow,
Couldn't
the
take the
arms.
suggestion. Couldn't take the hint
I'm
because
I'm
Taylor
gonna
just choked on an Altoid.
Screaming Arms is probably a mistake. I'm probably gonna lose my voice.
Oh God. Bite and Bark look at the screen. They're like, "You think you're safe?"
Better go
Just
catch
whisper
it.
it. Arms. Okay.
Arms, you ready, kids?
All right. Anyway,
Arms, Graham.
the next matchup is the Crash Bandicoot
N-Sane Trilogy.
N-Sane Trilogy versus, which is the wild card, versus NieR
Okay.
Automata, which is a Christian pick. Who's going first?
I'll just say one thing, and then someone else can go.
Okay, just say one thing. 3, 2, 1, go. For
I
it.
just I'm hoping it's not completely cheating that Crash N-Sane Trilogy is on here because it's a compilation of games. I think it's more important here, as I said in the honorable mention, as a representative of what I feel like was the mascot of a new era of how to remake video games, that I feel like Crash Bandicoot N-Sane Trilogy pulled off first and pulled off possibly best. Which is not to speak on how great its individual platforming games are. I'll let someone else go first, but I do want to touch on it because I love both of these games, honestly.
Jordan, do you think you could time me for exactly 4 minutes?
You know, actually, Christian, I don't want you to have 4 minutes because I want enough time to say things too, and there are more than two of us.
All right, just stop me at the 4-minute counter.
Okay.
So, NieR Automata is a game where you play as sexy androids and you beat the shit out of other robots who don't agree with you. They like to
It's just
attack
Portal,
you.
too.
Wait, what?
Actually, I'm just gonna ask, does anyone not know what NieR Automata is?
Me.
Okay.
I know it's a game that exists and that you play as a girl who is blind,
Okay.
and that's it.
Well, I don't know if she actually is. No, I was just asking
The
because
name actually stands for Too Blind.
I'll go into things a little bit.
What?
That was a good one, Graham. That was really good.
That was going to be my entire synopsis anyway of that whole thing. It's a 3D hack and slash kind of thing. This game is fucking amazing. It is made by Yoko Taro, who's one of the craziest dudes in the fucking universe.
Sometimes you'll get NieR Automata, sometimes you'll get Drakengard.
Yeah, he'll make games bad on purpose to prove a point, and it's like, I love this man. I love this man so much. But NieR Automata was Yoko Taro probably about to go make another shitty game to prove a point, but then Platinum Games stepped in and they were like, no, Yoko, we gotta sit down. How about we make an amazing game?
Have a coffee.
Yeah. Why don't we make an amazing game with all of your ideas in it?
Let's take off the weird Jack Skellington head for a moment.
Oh,
Have
his
some
name-
coffee and talk about this.
His name is Emil.
Listen, I was trying to make the joke so that everyone who doesn't know that could get it.
You know what? Fair point. So Platinum Games came in. You all know Platinum Games. Bayonetta, Astral Chain, other things. You know, they are the hack. They are like the. They are the 3D hack and slash champions, and NieR Automata's combat is so good you will start crying as soon as you start attacking something, because it is actually one of the greatest feelings in the world to have like a million different ways to kill something, yet all of those ways be flashy and quick to pull off. It is incredible.
I just want to correct you really quick, Christian, because I don't think this is a hack and slash. I think this is an action RPG, and there is a difference.
Okay, I will concede to that. It is more of an action RPG. The characters in this game are all like saying that they go in depth into the characters is not even scratching the surface of what actually happens in this game. These characters are fucking dissected meticulously to the point where you could spend if you want to, spend 2 hours reading a backstory on a side character. And it's like, I did it, I read the whole thing, and it was great. And, oh god, the game is just filled with spectacle. Every single boss fight is this massive robot monstrosity named after some sort of philosopher. And it's like, it's just, you are filled with this every single turn.
Well, just because I want to touch on both of these, because I also want to say good things about NieR Automata, because I think another thing that it does very well is its blend of gameplay styles, where it's primarily an action RPG, but sometimes it's a bullet hell and a shooter, and sometimes it's a well, I guess I don't know if it's a text. Yeah, sometimes it's a text-based adventure. For a hot minute, sometimes it's a text-based adventure. And I think it manages to keep itself fresh that way. I also feel like it manages to succeed where its predecessor doesn't, in terms of having interesting side objectives and having interesting multiple playthroughs that expand on a greater narrative. And I think I just think it's a lot of fun. And I think that one of the things a lot of action RPGs fall into a category of is because they are an RPG that has to work with numerical values to beat enemies, they often feel a little stiffer. But because it's Platinum, you get to play an action RPG that plays like a Platinum action game like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, which I think makes it one of the better action RPGs you can play. I just wanted to extend on that because I want to make sure we get to talk about Crash a little bit.
And I'm going to say one last thing about NieR, actually, just to top it off. One of my favorite things about NieR is just the amount of secret things you can do in the game that, like, trigger different things. One of the things you can do in NieR Automata, is you have a self-destruct button. And what you can do, as soon as you start the game, literally the instant you start the game in, like, the spaceship that you start off in, you could just explode, and the game ends.
Yeah, don't do that. Also, don't die in the tutorial, because...
the game also just ends, and you have to start the whole thing over.
Yeah, and
that's the Yoko Taro behavior right there.
It's a little long.
Yeah. We should talk about Crash a little bit, do you think?
I love Crash Bandicoot. It's difficult to talk about more so the remake versus the games themselves, because it's so if you put a side-by-side comparison of what the PlayStation 1 games look like versus just how advanced they managed to make things, it's truly incredible. It's something that we had never seen. When I first saw that Crash Bandicoot was getting remakes, I'm like, all right, so it's just going to be some weird port on modern consoles that like is going to look a little crisper. But then they're like, no, we're going to fucking completely redo the voice acting. We're going to completely remodel the characters. We're going to let Coco be playable in every single level. And it's still going to play like Crash Bandicoot. And Crash Bandicoot is fun as hell. Some people disagree because of the hallway style, trial and error based gameplay. But I don't really, it doesn't bother me the way it bothers other people. I find that Crash Bandicoot is really addictive because it compels to my OCD of needing to fucking break everything I see.
Oh, wow.
And rewarding me for that. Every box you break contributes to, hey, you broke this amount of boxes in a level. Break them all, and we'll give you a nice shiny gem. And that feels great to collect all the gems. It's really fun to 100%. You can speedrun the levels if you want. It's Cortex is I love Cortex because I feel like he is like a middle-aged man with depression who is just trying his best to be evil, but constantly forgets how sad he is. That's my theory. I like doing my Cortex impression where Cortex is sad about other mundane things. Crash, you didn't come to my son's bar mitzvah. I just love doing that because I'm like, that's absolutely something Cortex would say. Also, if they ever do a live-action Crash Bandicoot movie, I want Kelsey Grammer to play Cortex.
Yeah, you get
Niles! Anyways, does anyone else want to talk about Crash? Because it's like really, it actually is a little more difficult than I gave it credit for, because these are just really solid platformers.
Crash Bandicoot has great bosses. This is only speaking for the first one because that was the only one that I played in the N-Sane trilogy. But I really, really liked all the boss fights. There wasn't a single stinker. And I really appreciated it for that. I really like, kind of like what Taylor was saying, the hallway kind of based like perspective and everything. I don't mind it nearly as much. I think it was a way to do 3D platforming different than like the semi-collectathon or collectathon way that like Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie did. And well, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I really like the I really like the platforming and everything. And I hear, like Taylor said before, and just in general, I always hear that 2 and 3 are better and Crash 1 is the worst. So I can only imagine I liked Crash 1 as much as I did, I know I'm going to love 2 and 3 even more.
What I want to say about that, Clanky, is first of all, it was the PS1 version has its edges. The remake made the first one good, but it also made the second and third ones better. And like you even talk on the bosses. The bosses like are also way better in 2 and 3 too. Mario 64 did come out before Crash, but I imagine Crash was in development before Mario 64 came out. So it's just a testament to like how Crash Bandicoot wasn't trying to ride anyone else's coattails and kind of invented its own style of platforming. Like there are a ton of games that mimic the hallway style gameplay. Scooby-Doo mimics Crash Bandicoot. M&M's mimic Crash Bandicoot.
That's really what I was trying to say too about that. Yeah, no, I agree.
All I was gonna say was, and I think actually like even like if you looking at the original Crash Bandicoot, the graphics wise, I think it actually holds up in a way that Mario 64 doesn't. Like its art style is much more consistent.
Stylistically, sure. I think Crash's teeth look a little.
Listen, if that's the only thing you can critique about it.
Well, it's difficult because whenever someone shows footage, they show the title screen, so it's the thing I'm looking at the most.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
All right,
but whatever.
We're very long in the tooth in this round. Any last things to talk about with this one before we go?
ARRRRMS!
Besides that, we're not even talking about ARRRRMS anymore,
Taylor, I think the joke's having diminishing returns.
No, it's just because he's trying to find.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Taylor is trying to figure out more things to crack me up with.
Wu-chi! That was ARRRRMS in Mandarin.
The Mandarin thing has run its course for me. I'll tell you that.
No,
I'm sure it did, but I just wanted to see if it's ran its course for Jordan. Apparently, no.
No, never.
I don't want to go first, if that's okay.
Okay, Christian.
Look, I understand probably a lot of you really don't give a single fuck about NieR Automata, so I won't be mad if it gets completely destroyed, but I'm gonna vote for it anyway.
Okay. Mick.
I will probably really enjoy NieR Automata when I play it. However, I also haven't played Crash and Bandicoot N-Sane Trilogy. Do you think you can come back to me?
Alright, I guess we will.
I'm ready, actually, Jordan.
Okay.
I think it's still Crash N-Sane Trilogy. I like NieR Automata a lot. Crash is just I like platformers more than RPGs, so it's.
Huh? Clanky, yeah.
Crash.
Okay, Graham.
Having just finished my second platinum game, I really want to play another platinum game. I'm voting for NieR Automata.
Okay, and back to Mick.
I'm the tiebreaker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the main things is that I have a lot of I have a lot of nostalgia for Crash Bandicoot. As it was the first video game I owned was a Crash Bandicoot game.
That's cool.
So I'm going to say Crash Bandicoot,
Okay.
but it's a really iffy. This is really iffy for me.
Wow. Okay.
1 sec.
3-2 again.
If I whisper arms, does it become funny again?
Try it. So Crash Band.
Arms.
That's a little funnier.
Taylor, if you try and make a thing, then you know.
I know. Honestly, like today, it's less about making the running jokes and just saying things that are fun to come out of my mouth.
Okay.
Right? Like Fuggle is fun to say.
It
Arms is fun to say. I'm just like, just some words are just fun to say.
Yeah, that's almost the philosophy behind Graham jokes. It doesn't matter if other people laugh, as long as you laugh.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Nah, but see, that's the thing. I can't laugh at them myself. I thrive off other people's attention.
Yes, clearly.
Oh.
No,
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
And thus you'll never
it's a
reach
joke.
moksha.
I didn't mean it. Final
Exactly.
round
That was the joke.
of the original. We have a Graham pick with Resident Evil 7, or as he put it here, Resident Evil 7, I guess, and a Clanky pick of, as it says on the bracket, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I know, Breath of the Wild. Who wants to go first?
Okay. Has anyone played Resident Evil 7?
I have watched a whole mess of people play it.
Graham, have you not played Resident Evil?
I have
7?
not, which is why it was an honorable mention.
Oh
no.
my god.
Well, I guess this will be quick.
Can I start?
Yes, you may. Clock starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Breath of the Wild is my favorite Zelda game.
Ooh.
I know that's a pretty hot take. I know a lot of people aren't too happy with the direction Breath of the Wild went as far as kind of getting rid of the dungeons or like introducing them to us in a new way.
dungeons though.
But no,
There
I'm getting there.
dungeons.
I'm getting there. Please let me talk. So I think that Breath of the Wild does everything right. Yeah, fine. I guess the dungeons aren't as in depth as they are in things like Ocarina and Majora's Mask and Wind Waker, but the things that they introduce in its place, which are the divine beasts and the shrines, more than make up for it. There's like 100+ shrines to find around, which have the little challenges, either puzzles or tests of strength or whatever, that make it like. They take the best part of the dungeon and give you, like, a bit of it. And they say, okay, do this challenge, and then try to find another shrine and do that challenge. On top of that, the Divine Beasts have a really interesting mechanic. Granted, it's not... I'm not going to say that it's perfect, but I really, really do love the idea of, like, having to move around this giant behemoth to change the layout of the dungeon to explore it a little bit differently. I think that mechanic works really well, but the thing that most of the people would want to play Breath of the Wild for is the open world aspect.
Yeah.
The open world aspect is the best I've ever seen in any game. I really like the idea that you can see a mountain in the distance and go, I'm just gonna climb that and see what's on top, and then you can just do it. Granted, there are some caveats with that, like needing enough stamina or whatever, but it gives you more incentive to want to explore the worlds to find shrines, so that way you can expand your stamina, so that way that giant mountain that you could barely, like, get 10% of the way up at the beginning of the game is something that you can easily scale by the time you get to the end of the game. The story is, I don't want to say it's the best Zelda's ever been, but it's definitely pretty damn great. I really like the dynamic between Link and Zelda. I really like the I really love the, what are they called? The four guys, the gang. I forget their name.
Love those dudes.
Yeah, the four guys. What are their names?
We got Fish, Rock, Bird.
Yeah,
Lady.
Fish Rock, Bird,
Rivali,
Girl.
Rivali,
Dude, they're
Daruk,
so...
Mifa,
Yes,
Urbosa.
Yes,
No,
thank you.
Graham,
They had like a
their names
name.
are
The
Rock,
Champions.
Fish.
They were called the Champions. That's right.
know.
Yes.
The Champions are super good. I love all four of them. Some of them, they grow on you, right? The Rito, I forget his name. What's his name? Rivali.
Sidon.
Rivali.
Rivali is really dope.
Right.
I
No, he's
really...
not. Sorry.
Rivali he's one of those characters that grows on you. I really, really like him. Daruk is the best champion. He's so
Not Daruk,
lovable, and I
Daruk.
love him. What?
Thank
Yeah, it's
you.
not. This is no Sandstorm. Daruk is
Oh,
really.
wow.
Daruk is like so lovable. I saw an amiibo of him in like a store somewhere, and I'm like, God damn it! I thought this was over, but I need Daruk. But I just I can't describe how much I love Zelda Breath of the Wild. It really reshaped what I thought an open worlds game could be and what a Zelda game could be. And it did everything right, and I love it for that.
If this was at the beginning of the bracket, I would probably engage with a more back and forth dialogue, but I really do want to be respectful of the time people have today, which is why I'm going to say my opinions, and I'm going to just ask people to let me have them and not challenge them, because I already know you'll disagree.
Can I in place? So hang on. Or how much longer do we have to talk about Resident Evil?
We have 4 minutes left in the whole thing.
Okay. Graham, do you want to talk about Resident Evil, or shall I?
Yeah, we'll talk about Resident Evil. Resident Evil 7 is the game that pretty much brought back one of gaming's hugest franchises back from the brink of death. This was the return of actual horror. They figured out, hey, we can make it horror just by going back to a house.
Yeah.
It's in the
Welcome to
bayou.
the family, son.
Welcome family, son. There's a DLC where you play as a guy who punches zombies. Your protagonist is like calling him white bread would be like insult to white bread, but he's fine.
Strongest hands.
yes. It has really great boss and enemy designs. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, it didn't really bring Resident Evil back from the grave, but it did kind of bring Resident Evil back from a very, very odd afterlife of the games are really shit, but in an enjoyable way.
Also, these two are both great examples of reimagining of series that go back to the roots of the first game.
But also really change it up in interesting ways.
Yes.
I feel like if you were to ask a Resident Evil fan prior to 7 that, hey, what if you feel the game would become a first-person horror game? I think they would have shot you.
Yeah.
That's why I voted for it to get onto the bracket, just because I respected how it pushed the series forward, despite not being a big Resident Evil fan beyond 4. Anyways, I was saying a thing about Breath of the Wild, and then Mick's like, instead of that, can I talk about Resident Evil?
We only have 4 minutes left.
No, yeah, it's fine. Breath of the Wild is going to win anyways, so I'll just save it.
Okay. Any other comments here? Do you want to just cut off with 2 minutes left?
This tournament might be a war of attrition where it's really, is the thing that's going through the bracket, is the thing that you want to win better than Breath of the Wild? And that's what this is what this might come down to. Because Breath of the Wild is one of those games where people say The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the game of the decade, and you can't say no. It's like
No. The game of the decade is different than do you like the game?
No, I love the game, actually. In the minute I have, and again, you can challenge me later if you want, but listen, I love Breath of the Wild. I really do. I think the gameplay loop you're right, Clanky, those shrines, the puzzles, the bite-sized challenges, the amount they spread across the world, the rewards you get for doing them, all of that is excellent. The paraglider, excellent. The flow and motion of the gameplay, all of that is great. And this is not an original thing, but it was something I thought of before I heard other people say it. I'd rather not get a challenge right now. I don't think as a Zelda game, it is great. I do stand by the fact that I think those Divine Beast dungeons are not only not Zelda dungeons, but they're not fun. I don't enjoy them at all. I find that they are just find a way to arbitrarily move a machine around to press buttons. I love the way you get into the dungeons. I love the shock arrow. I love all the ways you enter the dungeons. You know what I mean. I think those are fun and flow great. I also don't think there's enough time to spend on the characters for them to be truly endearing Zelda characters. They're okay. And I simultaneously feel like the story has to take a back seat for being open world, so it can't be all that great of a story. There's a story there, and it's not a bad story, but for Zelda standards, I find it very low. But I do love the game, and I can't wait for Breath of the Wild 2. I just think it falls a little short as a Zelda game.
Okay. Well, we're out of time on that, so unless anybody has
Okay.
anything else to say, we should get to the vote.
I'm good.
Okay. Taylor.
Breath of the Wild.
Right. Christian.
Breath of the Wild.
Okay. Mick.
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Or Biohazard 7 Resident Evil for our friends over the seas.
Clanky.
Cranky.
I said Clanky.
I know. I'm just. I thought I heard cranky. I heard cranky for a second.
Cranky Con.
Clanky Con.
Hey,
so
fuck.
true. So true. I'm voting for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. And Grim.
The only game to ever live up to the hype around it and succeed at Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Yeah, so true. Oh man.
I'm eagerly
All
awaiting its position in the finals.
We have the
Uh,
power to not let this win if we wanted to. It can win, and I'll be fine with it. But we have the power not to let it win. Just FYI.
Okay. Super Mario Odyssey versus Use Your Words.
Do we need to argue this one?
I think I kind of know what's about to happen.
I have
Okay.
nothing to say, unfortunately.
Sorry, Jordan.
I've resigned myself to what usually happens to my vote.
Yeah.
It
I
just
thought it,
happens,
Jordan.
like-
I thought it would beat Prey,
Yeah. But, you know.
but Christian
You know how
apparently
it is.
really likes Prop Hunt.
I do. I love
Christian-
Prop Hunt.
Christian, you
The
go
games I would
first.
rather vote the words over.
I do love Use Your Words.
You don't need to do anything to make me feel good, okay?
No, it's
I get
okay.
it.
I'm doing it because I like talking about games. It's not to make anyone feel better, unfortunately. I do feel bad though, so
I know, but it's okay.
yeah. Super Mario
Um,
Odyssey, yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Mick.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay. Clanky.
See.
Yeah. Graham
Mario Odyssey.
and Taylor.
Let's do the Odyssey.
Let's just move swiftly right along.
Right along.
Yeah, moving right along. Sonic Mania versus Miitopia.
Again, do we need to argue
Just like use your words hurt you, Jordan.
Yeah.
This one's gonna hurt me.
We're all due tonight.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Except me, weirdly.
By putting
Well,
in
that's
no
what happens
games.
when you have no representatives.
Yeah. Next
You
week.
have nothing,
Next
you have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Okay. Real quick.
I actually don't think I have anything to gain either, honestly.
Christian.
Oh, I vote yes. With much love and respect to Miitopia, Sonic Mania.
Yeah. Mick.
Oh, me? Sonic Mania.
Clanky.
Miitopia.
See? At least got a vote.
Yay!
Graham.
Miitopia.
Oh, it got 2 votes.
All right,
Taylor.
Taylor.
I'm not a fan of Sonic.
What if it wasn't? What if I wasn't the tiebreaker? I was gonna vote for Miitopia as a joke, but then it became
Well,
2-2, so I
well.
have to
It-
vote for Sonic Mania.
No, but
Mm.
Taylor, it would be so funny if you
It
voted
would
for
be
Miitopia.
hilarious,
haha.
Clanky. But like, I don't like.
Okay, I take it back. I can be hurt.
I don't like Mies. I like Sonic.
That's 3-2 Sonic Mania.
Okay. Divinity Original Sin 2 versus ARRRRMS.
Oh, you brought it back, you.
Well, I can do it, you know.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I see.
Any comments here, or can we get to it?
We can get through it.
Okay. Christian.
ARRRRMS.
ARRRRMS. Mick.
Hang on, it's arms against what again?
Divinity
Divinity
Original
Original
Sin 2.
Sin
Divinity says I played it.
Yeah. Clanky.
Arms.
Mm-hmm. Graham.
Divinity.
And Taylor.
Divinity.
Oof.
Oh, wow.
Oof.
Did you think I was gonna go Arms?
No, I thought there was a
No,
chance someone would go ARRRRMS.
But it was 2-3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
3-2 Divinity. So
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not a ooh. It's
it is
it
an ooh.
makes
I
sense.
wanted ARRRRMS
I
to
just-
win.
Yeah,
I feel
me
bad
too.
for ARRRRMS. 'Cause I
Me
helped-
too.
I helped vote ARRRRMS in after all, so I feel in a bad mood.
First time a game of mine has won on a losers bracket, I think.
NieR Automata versus Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I think I know how this is gonna go.
Please.
Okay, Christian.
NieR Automata.
Mick.
I haven't played either of these, but I've seen a lot more Resident Evil 7, and I don't think anyone else is going to vote for it, so I'll throw it a vote.
Yeah.
Except maybe
Clanky.
Graham.
Clanky.
Man, this is like one of the first times for the Yearlies where I'm like, I really just know nothing about either of these games.
Well, Clanky, then let's go down to genre. Do you prefer RPGs or horror games?
Action RPGs, to be specific.
I don't really like action RPGs because I think adding numbers to action is
No,
stupid.
but what if there's an
so-
action? What if there's an action RPG where it plays so much more like a traditional action game that the numbers almost don't even matter?
Then why are the numbers there?
I don't know.
Because
Except
it
for bad
feels good.
difficulty scaling, it encourages you to actually fight the enemies. All you're really
Can
doing
we-
is leveling up.
Can we
honestly.
can we
Yes, we can come back to you.
come back
Yeah,
to
we
me?
can.
Yeah.
Next is Graham.
NieR Automata.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Okay.
Taylor.
I'll be honest. I thought Graham was going to go Resident Evil 7, and this was going to end
Yeah.
up 3-2.
Yeah.
But NieR Automata.
Okay. Clanky, the hate's off.
All right, if it doesn't matter, then I'm voting for Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
Graham, you
Yeah,
really.
all right, I'll vote for Resident Evil then.
Okay, cool.
Graham, you really saved me from having a pulmonary embolism or something. I really.
I don't
Don't
think
know.
that's what that's
Okay.
called.
Back to the top.
I'm no
I Had in
doctor.
Time versus Prey. Two very different games.
I'm still a little saddened by Mario Odyssey's loss, but I really do love A Hat in Time, and I feel like no one believes me now. I feel like no one believed me the entire time,
I I know I didn't.
and I know, and it's like it's so weird because I'm saying I like this game. I'm saying there are parts of the game I don't like most video games. So it's like, you know, but now it's versus Prey, which I feel like is a much easier decision for me. So
Okay.
I go
Going-
first. Oh wait, no,
we
you're right.
switch up the order. Going first this time is Mick.
Yes.
I'm gonna vote for Prey.
Okay.
It's a stealth horror game with like crafting elements. It's much more my thing.
A Hat in Time is also a stealth horror game.
Shut up.
But he voted for
Not
Prey.
exactly wrong.
Clanky.
A Hat in Time.
Okay. Graham.
Prey.
Mm-hmm. Taylor.
I demand an apology from Mick for telling me to shut up.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I accept your apology. A Hat in Time.
And Christian to break the tie.
You know, I still really like Prop Hunt. A Hat in Time.
Ugh.
Okay. 3-2. Cuphead versus Persona 5.
Damn, dude.
Oof.
You hate to see it go like that.
Wow.
The truth is, this isn't difficult for me, but like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should say a couple of things.
Or
But I
not.
got-
We don't exactly have time.
Taylor out here mourning Persona 5's death.
Even
Hang
though,
on,
yeah.
what, excuse me?
even though it's
Are
probably
you-
going to win.
Are you so sure that Persona 5 is dying here?
Yes.
Well, then you guys go ahead and vote, and we'll just see what happens.
Okay. Mick.
Cuphead.
Clanky.
Cuphead.
Graham.
Persona.
Taylor.
Persona.
Christian.
You know, I usually I will. It is my own time limit, so I can go on a slight tangent. On Thursday nights, I have been watching movies by myself recently.
I know where
And-
this is going.
And yesterday, I was going to watch a movie, and I was like, but I want to play Persona 5 so fucking bad. Like, it was infectious to the point where I was like, you know what? I'll just make a compromise. I'll watch the Persona 3 movie, and I did. So the fact that Persona 5 is definitely wins the award for most disruptive area of my life in 2022. So that gets the vote for me.
Wow. Okay. Taylor, you were right.
Don't diss Persona 5, man. That game is
I thought it was going a completely different
Oh,
way.
don't get me wrong. It's like Cuphead was the only thing that Persona. Cuphead can only lose to Persona 5.
Figures.
I think you think of a few other things. Cuphead
Oh, no,
loses
I
to
mean,
it.
Cuphead gonna make a run through losers brackets to kick Breath of the Wild's ass.
Yeah, you never know. Yakuza 0 versus Hollow Knight.
I will not let this. I know I shouldn't care because like so many people love Hollow Knight. So many people love this game. That's why the Silk Song hype is real. So many people. Kyle, you love this game.
Kyle doesn't get a vote.
I wanted to say silent because I didn't want to leave my opinion to sway people because I'm kind of like a third party, maybe a fourth party at this point. But
Well, then here,
if you want me to help you out, I guess I could.
Don't
hang
help.
on, Kyle. Before you answer, does anyone here not know what they're voting for?
I know.
Does anyone here not know what they're voting for?
Completely ignores the question.
I mean, like, I kind of know what I'm voting for, I think.
I'm saying if nobody feels like they're going to be swayed, then I would say go ahead, Kyle.
But it seems like Clanky might be swayed.
It doesn't matter. I'll leave my piece for later.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and make your choices.
I am under the assumption that Kyle loves this game.
Okay.
But
Oh, absolutely, but I don't think that's fair considering that Yakuza 0 is definitely high on my bucket list right now.
yeah, so
Mick, go ahead.
I'm voting for Hollow Knight.
Yes. Clanky.
I'm gonna vote for Hollow Knight.
Okay. Graham.
Hollow Knight.
Ooh. Taylor.
Well, then I don't feel bad. Yakuza 0.
And Christian.
yay, Hollow Knight!
Amazing.
It will march to a very interesting next round.
Crash Bandicoot, N-Sane Trilogy versus Legend of Zelda Breath.
All right. All I want to say, and I know how this one is going, is there are sometimes like I hear people talk about how Breath of the Wild is the most revolutionary, most amazing thing to come out of this decade, and it's not that I don't see its appeal, but I simultaneously feel like it's. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an open world game with a paraglider. It's been done before. It's just it has its own spin. I don't think it's as revolutionary as we make it out to be. It's gotten its own clones for sure. It's still great, and like it's fine. Like no, it's not fine. It's more than fine. It's like it's probably a 10 out of 10 game. I don't even know which one I'm voting for, quite honestly. There's just.
I like to imagine that after every single sentence that Taylor said, a gunshot sound is there.
By the way, can I just say, you're arguing about originality. Comparing it, though, this argument is between a new game and a remake.
No, and you're right.
Yeah.
I'm doing the disservice of comparing it within itself and not versus the thing against it. You're absolutely right. I just it's a point I wanted to make versus what you guys were saying before, because I do feel like people too often say that Breath of the Wild is like this perfect revolutionary thing, and I'm like I don't entirely agree with that, although I think it's fantastic, and it's just important enough for me that I want to get it out there on recording so that people can hate me.
All right. Any other comments, or shall we?
I don't want people to hate me. Please don't be mad at me.
No, we won't.
It's not the worst. It's not like the worst or most controversial hot take you can hear about Breath of the Wild on the internet. Probably
Yeah,
not.
no, but I feel like no one's going to hear the part where I say that I love
But
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Jordan, put edit like a robot voice saying hate over every time Taylor says love.
No! I was being Jordan. No! Hi,
I'll see what I can do.
And I cheated on my math test. Jordan wouldn't do
No one's
that.
ever gonna know how much I hated Breath of the Wild.
This is perfect.
Honestly,
I
that
have
does
to-
sound hilarious, but if Taylor doesn't want to do it, don't do it.
I tell you
I
what,
have
let
to
me
go to the
listen
vote.
to it. As long as you give me one chance to say, I'm going to say this now, don't edit over this. Jordan has used a recording to fucking false feed you information. Please understand that this is a joke and we're all having a good time here, and I don't actually hate Breath of the Wild.
Is it gonna be? Wait, is it? It's just it's one of those
If
generated robot
anyone,
voices
if
that just
anyone hears like a robot voice saying hate over every time you say love Breath of the Wild, and they
Because, like, I
somehow
think it's almost
still
always
think,
clear in context that you
Yeah.
actually saying you love it.
yeah,
Maybe they're
no, we
tone
have
deaf.
bigger issues.
Yeah.
Mick, we should vote.
Okay, I'm starting. Oh, come back to me.
Okay, Clanky.
I've been meaning to remake my top 10 or 50, 100, whatever favorite games of all time, but I know for a fact that Breath of the Wild is still going to be in the top 5. Breath of the
Okay.
Wild.
Cool. Graham.
Ralph.
Okay.
What?
Taylor.
I don't really know where Breath of the Wild ranks, but I'm pretty sure Crash is higher.
Okay. Christian.
You know, I'm not really a huge Zelda fan. My vote goes for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, no, that's
And-
an accurate statement.
Yeah.
Zelda, Breath of the Wild is not a
Disagree.
big Zelda.
Disagree. I'm not going to
And-
get into it, but I so disagree with you, Taylor.
Mick,
Zelda
know,
Breath of the Wild is a perfect Zelda game. I don't care what you say.
Mick, your vote for the record.
Uh,
It doesn't matter.
No.
Fucking Crash.
Okay, 3-2. All right. Loser bracket ones. We'll do bottom up. Prey
Clank-
versus NieR Automata.
I want to say, when Clanky disagrees, he disagrees so hard. Disagree!
Yeah.
And that's-
He's
sorry.
passionate.
funny-
He's passionate, man. He
Yeah.
truly
I know, but it's
believes
like-
Breath of the
But
Wild.
no, but it's like I spend 10 minutes saying, "Hey, I like this." Taylor, fuck you.
Well,
Can
you
I
didn't
just
say
say
that.
And can I just say the really funny thing is that he doesn't even he won't start out by offering his reason. Like he won't just disagree.
Because we don't have time. We need
I
to
know.
move
Fair enough.
forward.
Fair enough.
Ooh. Clanky, your first vote now.
Oh God, 2 other games that I just don't know.
You got this.
NieR.
Yes.
Graham.
Right.
Okay. Taylor.
NieR.
Okay. Christian.
NieR.
And Mick.
Right.
Okay.
Very happy about this.
Amazing. Cuphead versus Divinity Original Sin 2. Okay. Nobody has any comments.
One of these is a nice simple romp, and one of these is an encyclopedia.
And one of these is the monkey mug.
Clanky.
Cuphead.
Graham.
Honestly, probably Cuphead.
Taylor.
It's gotta be Cuphead.
Christian.
Cuphead.
And Mick.
Divinity.
Okay, 4-1. Yakuza 0 versus Sonic Mania.
Oof.
Sega versus Sega.
Oof. Oof.
If that's all we've got,
I mean,
then
I could talk about some more.
Do you have any comments?
Oof.
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 Oof. Blast
Clanky.
processing.
Clanky.
Arms but backwards.
Sonic Mania.
Hurrah!
All right, you
Damn
found
you.
it.
I think it only
Right.
worked because I announced what I was going to do first.
Probably if you just read, because if you yelled "smra," I think we would have been like, "What?"
Everything is funnier when you announce it first. That's the rule.
Graham.
Yakuza.
Taylor. I hate you so much.
I like Sonic Mania a lot. Yakuza 0, man, that's the game.
Christian.
Sonic Mania.
And Mick.
Sonic Mania.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Ooh. Another close call for one of my picks.
Oh, who? I'm sorry. Who was the other one that voted for Yakuza?
Graham, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Crash Bandicoot N-Sane Trilogy versus Super Mario Odyssey.
I mean, at the end of the day, these are both like platformers, but like one of them is Mario. Like,
It's fine.
Yeah.
Christian, it's fine. I'm not going to fight for Crash on this one.
okay, I'm just making sure.
All right. We start with Clanky.
Yeah, I guess I gotta give it to Mario.
Graham.
Mario.
Taylor.
I wonder if we as a collective group like Mario.
I think we do. Just
I hope so.
I think a Mario game is in like all of our collective top 50s.
I hope so.
Christian
Oh, Mario Odyssey.
and Mick.
Crash.
I figured. Okay.
Maybe not. Wait, would it be in mix? I'm actually not
Yes,
sure.
it would.
No, it,
It would.
It would.
I
Which,
mean, actually, it depends. Does Luigi's Mansion count as a Mario game?
Yes, it
Mm,
does.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess you
then
could
yeah.
say so.
Because Mario is the last name.
Well, to be honest, I would count that as a spin-off.
All right. A Hat in Time versus Persona 5.
All right. Look, I don't want to fight. I really don't.
So let's
I-
just
I-
vote. If we don't want to fight, then let's just vote.
Okay. Graham goes first.
Persona 5.
Okay. Taylor.
Persona 5.
Christian.
Y'all so fucking lucky. I'm already voting for Persona 5.
Oh, Mick.
Hat in Time every day.
And Clanky.
A Hat in Time.
Okay. Hollow Knight versus The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Just get it over with.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Just get it the fuck over with.
Graham.
Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm. Taylor.
Hollow Knight.
Christian.
Hollow Knight.
Mick.
Hollow Knight.
Let's go! Let's go!
And Clanky.
Damn. Breath of the Wild.
Oof.
Clanky, I don't think you have.
I
I
love
don't
that.
think. I have
Hollow
faith.
Knight
Yep.
sweep.
He doesn't
Wow.
think.
I have it on good faith that Legend of Zelda
Okay.
is gonna do well in the
Wow.
losers.
Super Mario Odyssey versus Sonic Mania.
I have to say goodbye to a few friends along the way.
Oh, well.
Goodbye, Sonic Mania. You were well.
Don't say
Graham.
goodbye yet.
Graham.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Taylor.
Might be time to
Super
say
Mario
goodbye.
Odyssey.
You can say goodbye now, Taylor.
Christian.
Sonic Mania.
Mick.
Sonic Mania.
Well, Clanky.
Come on.
Bruh, I almost said Breath of the Wild. That's so funny. Super Mario Odyssey.
Super
well.
Mario Breath. Wait, that doesn't work at all.
That could be a nice game.
Finally proving that Mario is better than Sonic.
Cuphead
Bro.
versus NieR Automata.
Now this one hurts.
Mm, yeah. Graham.
Near.
Taylor.
Cup.
Taylor, I take back what I said before. I love you. Christian.
Wait, did you say you hated me?
I think so.
Oh,
After
okay.
you did Mesmerat.
I feel like everyone's mad at me today.
All right. NieR Automata's gone far enough. I'm voting for Cuphead.
Okay. Mick.
Near Automata.
What the
And
fuck?
Clanky.
Cuphead.
Kyle, were you choking just there?
Cuphead is
I love
technically higher on my list than
Wow.
NieR.
Okay. I had In Time versus Super Mario
You've got to
Odyssey.
be fucking
You see,
kidding
Kyle,
me.
we come all.
It all
You've
comes
got to
back
be
together.
I told you, Kyle.
Kidding me.
So
I
let's see if it goes any differently.
I say considering last time we vote and no one's allowed to say anything.
Okay, fine. We're back to. I think we're back. Did we do 4 with Graham starting? I think we did.
Yeah, so I think Taylor would be starting next.
Taylor starts.
Then Mario Odyssey.
Okay. Christian.
Last time I voted for A Hat in Time because I couldn't decide between which of these two which I would vote for. Time has passed, and I'm still voting for A Hat in Time.
Okay. Mick.
A Hat in Time.
Clanky.
Hat in Time.
Yeah, and Graham.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay. Well, valiantly done.
The king is dead.
Long live the king.
Long live the superior
Okay.
hat.
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild versus Cuphead. Oof.
This is our chance.
Wow.
This is our chance.
Wow. I think I know what's probably going to happen, actually. And I like it. Taylor.
Head.
Once again, I love you. Christian.
With much due respect to Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, I am voting for Cuphead.
Mick.
Breath of the Wild.
Clanky.
Breath of the Wild.
Graham.
Breath of the Wild.
We could have
Hang on,
made
is
it.
it actually? Is
No.
it too late to change my vote?
It is too
Mick,
late.
you
I
really,
just submit.
You really can't be making votes like this.
Mick, that ship has sailed to where it was going, and
You
now it's
really
sailed
fucked
back
that
and then
up.
left again.
Please let me have this. I love Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay.
Good news, everyone. For everyone whose game is still in the bracket, you're all in the top 4.
Wow.
Oh.
Persona 5 versus Hollow Knight.
Can we do the impossible? Can we do the impossible? Let's see.
Well, let's find out. Taylor?
Well, Christian, even though I'm voting for Persona 5, the answer is probably.
We'll see about that. I'm voting for Hollow Knight.
Mick?
Hollow Knight.
Wait, no, I think you were going to vote for that.
Hollow Knight.
And Graham.
Let's go.
Persona 5.
All I ask is that
3
you
to
don't
2.
vote.
Right?
Now, you see, this is the interesting dilemma of something that I had never considered before, of the fact that Hollow Knight could win this bracket, and that scares me.
Wow. Isn't
That
that
doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
A Hat in Time versus Breath of the Wild? I don't like what this has all become. Okay, Taylor.
Ratchet and Clank.
No, really.
King's Quest.
And now it's going to be back to thinking that I hate A Hat in Time, but now Breath of the Wild. I've been me. I love both of these games so much, and I have done a terrible job expressing that. Breath of the Wild.
I'm gonna literally get a Stephen Hawking vocoder. Christian.
Between two games I've never played, huh?
Mhm.
If you sat me down right now and you asked me, and you told me to play one of these games, I really would play A Hat in Time.
Okay. Mick.
A Hat in Time.
Clanky.
With a heavy heart, I have to vote for Breath of the Wild.
Graham.
Breath of the Wild.
We were so close. We were
It's
so close.
such a good game.
It is such a good game. What are you talking about? Please, I
Cuphead
love
can't
this
be
game
It
so
would be so
much.
obvious if it won, guys.
I mean, it'll
And
be
neither can
obvious,
A Hat in Time.
but
We
Yeah,
have an obvious
It's
wouldn't be
so
perfect.
obvious because it's so good.
yeah, the thing is, no matter what
Agreed.
wins, whether it's obvious or not, is the winner. You know?
You think I was happy that Undertale won? Okay.
All right, listen. I'm incredibly pleased with this bracket, and I don't care what wins at this point.
Oh, I'm fucking ecstatic. I am I'm fucking so happy.
There were just a couple of things I didn't want to win, and the things that I didn't want to win didn't make it very far.
Okay. Persona
What,
5.
Miitopia? I really can't think of anything else.
Please, please.
I didn't say it.
Persona 5 versus Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay, I'm also gonna beg, please, please.
It's now
I get it.
Christian's
Listen, I
turn
get
this
it.
time, by the way.
I get it. I get, it's Zelda, it's Breath of the Wild, it's revolutionary, it's great. I also think it's great. Persona 5 will capture you in such a special way if you just let it.
It's fine. It's funny because I feel like Taylor has the same ecstatic appreciation for Persona 5 that Clanky has for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I think it's true.
I-
They're
I-
both
the
top
thing
5
is-
games to them. I'm surprised. It is a weird feeling waiting until 2017 to talk about a Persona game in the Yearlies. Like it's a really strange feeling because as much as I love Persona 5 and I've been talking about how much I love Persona 5, every time that I vote for it, Persona 4 is only 2 spaces away from it in my top 10. And Persona 3 is in my top 50. So like it's strange.
Well, because when we started these, we couldn't put them on yet.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for when we eventually go backwards and I can talk about like Persona 4 and how I started the franchise from there and how much it captured my imagination and the fact that Persona 5 is able to recapture that is
Probably better.
yeah. And I'm not sure what's going to get kicked off here, but both of these games deserve to win, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
And I'm
I mean,
gonna-
I understand that that Breath of the Wild is the thing that wins everything, and that losing to Persona 5 losing to it is just the norm. But I'm gonna try because I think
Didn't
both
Persona
these,
5 win Game of the Year of the...
No,
Yearlies?
Breath of the Wild did.
yeah.
Ah, I
The
thought it
thing,
did.
listen, both of these games have incredible game loops. Breath of the Wild's game loop of explore, upgrade, explore is a really good one, and it is something that I feel like other open world games have arbitrary things to explore. Like Skyrim has all these dungeons that have no value whatsoever,
Don't
whereas
get me started on Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I wasn't going to because I didn't know. But
Yeah, no, like that game is arbitrary things. The game.
No, but so what I'm saying is like every part of Breath of the Wild's map is fairly carefully crafted. It's just but Persona 5 is able to do that too in its balance of social life versus battle life, where everything you do in your social life affects your battle life. It's something that they didn't try before. I was saying this before, like the social links, the time you bond with characters, which are these incredibly well-crafted narratives. They reward you for all your hangouts. You can get experience buffs. You can I have to say things that Christian has already experienced. You can get experience buffs. Your party members can take hits for you. You can I can't because Christian is still playing it. You have to trust me on this. It's difficult. I know that there are two people here who are automatically not going to vote for this. I feel like the only person I can maybe sway is Graham. Graham, I know you love Breath of the Wild, but remember the narrative of Persona. Remember the style, experience, the music. There's music in Breath of the Wild. I think it's a lot more atmospheric. The gameplay loop, I truly believe this. I truly believe the gameplay loop of Persona 5 Royal. I think the story of Persona 5 Royal, the music, the art style, I do think it's all better. I think that there is a grander scale to Breath of the Wild. I think it expanded on its territory more. But I do think Persona 5 is the better game. I'm done.
All right. I vote for
All right.
Persona 5.
Okay. Mick.
I'm voting for Breath of the Wild.
Okay. Clanky.
Breath of the Wild.
Graham.
Come back to me.
Taylor.
Persona 5.
Graham, you are the tiebreaker.
This is probably the hardest choice I've ever made in any of the yearlies.
It's easy if you have a coin.
Stop it, Kyle.
We tried.
These are both games that I feel are equal in many ways. Like Taylor, I know you're saying about the gameplay. I honestly think, even though they're two very different things, if I had to rate the quality of the gameplay of both of them, I'd probably rate them equally, even though they're very different.
I understand that.
So honestly, it all comes down, like, if I'm going through my list of like balancing the scales, there is one thing that does tip the scales, and that is music, which is why I'm giving it to Persona 5.
Oh.
So, we then go to a vote we literally just had, which
Did we?
Hollow Knight.
We did have this vote.
Oh my god, it came back.
Listen to me very carefully. The victory here, and I don't mean this to gloat. If Persona 5 beats Breath of the Wild but loses to Hollow Knight, then in my mind, Persona 5 won.
Hollow Knight also won because it also beat Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And Hollow Knight also won because it beat Persona.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Hold on.
We've learned from this current development.
Unless anyone wants to change their mind.
Yes,
And I
that
have
can
to,
happen.
We still have a little bit of time.
Yes.
So I'll say, Christian, I hope you know that I'm a huge Hollow Knight fan. And in terms of a Metroidvania game that is not Metroid,
Or
and is not Guacamelee.
Or Vania.
Or Smrat.
You know what I'm trying to say, Christian. Hollow Knight excels in its class immensely, and in a way that many other Metroidvania games cannot.
It does.
It does. There are a couple of
Think
things
carefully.
about Hollow Knight that don't capture me. For example, I'm not huge on lore-based narratives where I have to I have to figure out the story for myself. I like being spoon-fed information because I'm a dumbass.
I mean, I mean, if there's something I think we can all agree on, I think. No, I'm joking.
You better be joking.
This is another I agree with you, Taylor's a dumbass. That I truly have no friends.
Let's just move on.
That's the joke I was gonna make. Let's move on.
The jokes.
I
Whatever.
think,
Look, if we're going, can we go tit for tat? Can we go
I
tit
think
for tat?
Oh, you want to say something, even?
Yeah, I love Persona 5.
Yes. We both have mutual respect for each other.
Yes, I do think Persona 5's the first 8 hours of Persona 5 can be sluggish, and Morgana can get really, really annoying with the tutorials, even after the first 8 hours are done, which is a problem that Hollow Knight doesn't have.
Oh, see, that's the thing. You could make that argument for Hollow Knight that the first couple of hours are sluggish because you have no sense of direction, which can
Because there's
also
so many slugs. Because bugs, right, guys?
That could also, I feel like that can also hold you back. That you yourself said that the game gets much better when the amount of directions you get to go in opens up to you. So by that very definition, you could argue that it's that it has a slow start as well. And granted, it's a smaller amount of hours because the amount of hours you will spend in Hollow Knight is smaller than Persona 5. Keeping in mind that 8 hours of Persona 5 is not even 10% of Persona 5.
Which, by the way, Hollow Knight does get close to the amount of hours. It's not there, but it gets close to the amount of hours. Hollow Knight can reach you up to like 40 hours if you go for true ending, then like 60 to 80 going for 100%.
I got the true ending of Hollow Knight in about
200 hours if you're trying to
do the thing. Yeah, you know the thing.
I got about 24 hours out of Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
And that was like doing most of the side quests. I upgraded my nail to the max. I got every heart vial except for the one where you have to take a rose across the map without fast travel. Fuck that one.
That one's not too bad, actually.
I hate that one.
Coward.
Kyle, you know,
I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
I love you, man.
Yeah, Kyle's like me, but more apologetic.
Yeah, Kyle's you, but nice.
Well, that's the thing. Is because I think because you Kyle and you know each other less, he's less confident to be able to not apologize.
No, I feel like the better I've gotten to know Kyle, the nicer he's been to me. Actually.
Oh, really? It's the opposite with me.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this outright. Clanky, you're the swing vote. Are we doing anything for you right now?
I know what I'm voting for, so.
Okay. There's not really much.
I haven't played either of these games, but there's definitely one I'm more interested in.
Okay, then Christian, I shake your hand.
Can I be the swing vote?
No.
No.
I shake your hand. I say you and I both won today, and let's see what happens.
Let's see.
Okay. Folks, let's get with it. Christian.
Hollow Knight.
Mick.
I just want to say, Taylor, you've actually succeeded in making me want to play Persona even less.
Yeah, you said that already, Mick, and you don't.
No, but it happened again with. Yeah, it's kind of slow for the first 8 hours.
Well, I said
Christian
that. So.
said
Oh yeah, that's right. Christian said
and
that.
it's true, by the way. But
Okay.
I got it, Mick. All right, but like once is enough.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, Hollow Knight.
Yeah. Clanky.
Hollow Knight.
Graham.
Sona.
And Taylor.
I feel
Good
like
game.
you should have left Clanky for
good
that.
game.
Good game.
Good
Persona
game.
5.
The score is 3-2
And
Hollow
with a
Knight.
perfect score, Hollow Knight
I
takes
still
the
think this is the best
2017.
bracket.
Yeah.
This is actually probably the most solid bracket we've had yet.
Wow.
I know.
Like I don't disagree with anything here,
Packed with good
The
stuff.
problem is
Yeah.
there's no.
except for me. No. In all honesty, as much as Mick's meme vote with the Breath of the Wild Cuphead thing kind of frustrated me.
Or
I
was
do
that a
kind of
meme vote? Because if it was a meme vote, he should have gotten.
No. That was genuine. That wasn't a meme vote. That was genuinely my first instinct. But because like I feel like I'll probably get more enjoyment out of Breath of the Wild than I will out of Cuphead. So like that was legitimately my first instinct.
Oh yeah,
but,
because
like,
what I'll say is,
But like the reason I hesitated was because I was like, oh wait, I don't want to be the reason Breath of the Wild wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I thought
the
it was a
thing
meme vote, by the way. Like
No, it wasn't a meme vote.
the thing is, Mick has told me on multiple occasions that Breath of the Wild could be the one Zelda game he ends up enjoying, whereas he said today that Cuphead is a game that not only is he not good at, but he doesn't like being bad at it. The only thing I think Cuphead has going for Mick is the clown.
The clown is great.
I love the aesthetics. I love the music. I love everything about Cuphead.
I love the clown.
I do love the clown.
I do like the clown.